Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning
Hello
po.
po, ma'am.
Good morning, Celtians. Welcome to our online Kamustahan webinar series, Igniting the Nationalism of a Celtian, Awareness in Protecting the Vulnerable Sectors program. Again, online Kamustahan was made by the Guidance Office and together with the OSAAM, Ma'am Zen, Bakani, in order for us to help reach one another in this new normal. To start our program, it will be led by Invocation, Philippine National Anthem, Celtic Hymn. Audio-visual presentation will be presented by Ma'am Irene. And then opening remarks by Mr. John M. Candare.
Sikoy ko kamighimo tolangit Sikoy ko kamighimo Aldo ay bulan Ikaw ang nagbuhat sa kabituhan
And for the opening remarks, again, for the opening remarks, may we call on Mr. Johnson M. Candare.
Okay, good morning, Ma'am Chris. Kindly open your camera, of course, to be recognized. Good morning, CELTIANS, no? But of course, before we start, no, I'd like to introduce myself first, no? I'm CELTIAN, Judge M. Cantare, the Dean of the College of Criminal Justice Education of this prestigious institution. No, I've done, of course, the Central Luzon College of Science and Technology. And thank you to each and everyone for being us for today's activity, and welcome, no, to the members of the top management, of course, headed by our beloved President, Dr. Renato Legaspi, Dr. Delian Legaspi, the Executive Vice President, and Dr. Rene Paulo M. Legaspi, our Senior Vice President, no? To the academic and administrations, including their staffs, headed of course by Ma'am Aleni, MC Bug, to the faculty from the different departments, students, and most especially to our guest speakers, no, from the Regional Mobile Force Battalion, Police Regional Office 3, and to be introduced later by our USA coordinator. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, sir. And thank you for providing time and shares your expertise and knowledge, particularly in the field of law enforcement. No? So today is celebrating our third day of the 62nd founding anniversary of this institution, dubbed as CELTIANS Day 2021, with the theme I am CELTIANS, getting together, resilient, proficient, and flourishing the new normal, no? Despite of the current pandemic that we are all experiencing. No? And I hope, no, that you are all enjoying. And once again, on behalf of the College of Criminal Justice Education, maaya pa ba kumabay tangan dakal na salamat.
Thank you very much, Sir Johnson. May we request everyone to open your camera for the photo op. So we have 12 pages so far. So page 1, open your camera. Okay, for the page 1, 1, 2, 3, smile. For the page 2, 1, open cam, page 2, 1, 2, 3. Next, page 3, please open your camera. 1, 2, guys, open your camera. One, two, three. Page 4. Please open your cameras. Page 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Page 5. Page 6. Please open your cameras. One, two, three. Page 7. One, two, three. Page 8. One, two, three. Page 9. One, two, three. Page 10. One, two, three. Page 11. One, two, three. And last, page 12. One, two, three. And now, to properly introduce our speaker, may we call on Miss Janelle T. Bacani.
Thank you, Ma'am Trisha. Good morning. Kumusta, Celtians? So it is our series 2 of online Kumustahan webinar series wherein we're going to tackle different national laws. So it is my privilege to you to introduce one of our guest speakers for today's webinar. So for our first speaker, she graduated Bachelor of Science in Physical Therapy at University Foundation Angeles City and Bachelor of Science in Criminology at University of La Salette, Isabela. She also graduated Doctor of Philosophy in Education, major in Educational Management in University of Assumption, San Fernando, Pampanga. She is Criminology Licensure Board Passer and also Physical Therapy Licensure Board Passer. Currently, she is the Chief Police Community Affairs and Development Section of the Regional Mobile Force Battalion 3 or RMFB3 from March 2020 up to the present. She is also the Chief Battalion Police Strategy and Management Unit or BPSMU of the Regional Mobile Force Battalion 3 or RMFB from February 2014 to May 2019. She attended different trainings and seminars like training of trainers on Project Resistance Education Against Drug for the Youth, Project Ready, Public Safety Officers Advanced Course, Basic Incident Command System Training Course, and other trainings and seminars. She also has different awards and commendations like Medalya ng Kagalingan, Medalya ng Pagtulong sa Nasalanta, Medalya ng Ugnayang Pampulisya, Medalya ng Paglilingkod laban sa Kriminalidad, Medalya ng Kasanayan, Medalya ng Paglilingkod sa Luzon, Medalya ng Paglaban sa Manliligalig, Medalya ng Papuri, Medalya ng Mabuting Asal, Tsapa sa Natatanging Unit, PNP Badge of Honor. Celtians, let us all welcome our first speaker for today's webinar, Police Major Eileen Rose Salangad Stinger. Ma'am, good morning and welcome po sa CELTEC.
Good morning, Celtians. So this morning, I was invited and I'm so glad that I'll be able to impart to you some of the topics na mahalaga, lalong-lalo na sa inyo. I've heard that you are graduating students. And I will be discussing to you first, what I'll be discussing is gender and development. Then it will be followed by the newest law, yung sa ating pinakabagong batas na kailangan yung matutunan, yung sa Safe Spaces Act. May I ask the facilitator to enable my sharing of the screen for my presentation? I'm still disabled, Miss Facilitator, for the sharing of the screen. Can you just make me a host first so I can share the presentation to the listeners?
Hello po. Okay na po. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, can everyone see my presentation? Okay, to proceed, I'll be first I'll be discussing to you this gender and development so as to make us aware kung ano nga ba itong gender and development, why may mga GAD programs or gender and development programs na pinupush ang ating government at kahit saan mang agencies. So our goal for this is to enhance self-awareness on gender concerns and issues affecting relationships at various levels within family, workplace, and community. Our lesson objective is enlighten participants on the difference between sex and gender, definition of gender bias, cite examples on manifestation of gender bias, definition of gender equality. So ano bang pagkakaiba ng sex and gender? Okay. Makikita natin sa screen, ang sex refers dun sa kung lalaki ka man o babae. So, male or female. It refers to a person based on their anatomy. So, yung external genitalia, chromosomes, and internal reproductive system. What makes one male and male, and all the physical characteristics na meron ng isang tao na nagko-consider na male siya or female. And constant ito, it doesn't change. So, kahit saan mang lugar, cultures man, societies, constant siya. And it is biologically determined or inborn. How about gender? Okay. Sa gender naman, ito yung pangbabae o panlalaki. So what makes one masculine or feminine? And it changes across time and across places and cultures because it's a learned behavior. Socially differentiated role, culturally defined and determined. Ayan. So makikita natin yung difference nila. Yan, yung natural distinguished variable ang sex. Then gender is yung social attributes by culture to women and men. Gaya ng nakikita nyo sa screen. Di ba ano yan? Pag nakita nyo, ay pambabae kasi pink. Di ba? Minsan nag-ano tayo niyan. Minsan ito, lalabas ng ang sasakyan, blue. Ay, lalaki kaya nandiyan. Parang we note yung minsan inaano natin sa yung gender, yung pagkaano ng gender sa color. Minsan naman sa work, for example, mekaniko. Kaya nagwe-welding or ano pa man, iniisip natin lalaki. So meron siyang parang nine-name natin. How about sa washing of dishes? Minsan iniisip yung mga housewives, diba? Tapos rearing of children, yung pag-wash ng clothes. Minsan nililink lagi sa babae. So, ano ba yung social and cultural na aspects nito? So ito, worker, breadwinner, ang men ang laging nakokonote. Diba? Kasi yung unique attributes nila, physical, mga maskulado, tapos yung advantage din nila, nakakabuhat sila ng mabibigat na bagay. Then sa kababaihan, homemaker. Caring kasi ang mga babae, nurturing. And sensitive din sila, childbearing, sila yung, ang role nila is childbearing. So what's the priority ngayon? Ang ginagawa ng mga ibang tao, may gender bias. Ang sinasabi is education daw is for man lang. Yung mga dati yun, mga dating naging issue nun. Then may more access sila or control sa mga resources. Then meron silang decision-making power. So ang non-priority ang babae kadalasan ng mga dati pa sa ating country. Workplace is not primarily for women, sabi. Career and professional advancement is deemed unimportant daw sa mga babae. Housekeeping and childcare are the primary functions of a woman. Ito, anong effect niya? Nagdi-divide yung men and women. The access dun sa world, ng work is na-divide. So, nadideny yung mga kababaihan natin ng power, achievement, independence, and limit the psychological and social potentials ng pagiging human beings. Yan. Ito yung mga manifestation na mayroong gender bias. Minsan pinoportray ang kababaihan as homemakers lang, dito lang sa bahay lang sila, or sinners, ganon, child rearing kapag multiple burdens sa kanilang housework, farm work, then violence against women, wife beating, cuts across classes, ang hindi siya nire-regard as crime. Parang dati, ang is private family matter. So hindi nare-report. Actually, may mga ganyang pang cases sa mga lugar na hindi talaga nare-reach nitong kailangan maipakalat itong batas na to. Ito di-discuss natin yung mga batas. So, about gender equality. Ano ba yung gender equality yan? It means that women and men enjoy the same status and conditions and have equal opportunity to realize their potentials and to contribute to social, political, economic, and cultural development. It means that there is no sex discrimination. So wala dapat sex discrimination. Gender equality is seen as an encouragement to greater economic prosperity, societies where women are not afforded equal rights as men can never achieve development in a sustainable manner. So napakahalagang keyword niya, no? Kailangan may equality sa gender para ma-achieve natin yung ang prosperity sa economy and sa lahat as a country. Yan. Kaya meron tayong gender mainstreaming, no? Nire-raise yung people's God awareness and building God-related capabilities. Itong ginagawa natin ngayon is gender mainstreaming, no? We would like to institutionalize the pursuit of gender equality and women's empowerment. Gaya ng mga entry points na to, policy, people, enabling mechanisms, programs, and projects. Mamaya madidiscuss natin yan. Movement for gender equality resulted for the following mga positive na mga events. Women's suffrage, yung bumoboto na yung mga kababaihan dati, the women prosperity rights in marriage, sex discrimination laws, equal pay for equal work, women in business and politics, and women in police, fire, and armed forces. Yan ang bunga ng ating gender and development mainstreaming. Okay, ano nga ba ang God? Yan. Nakita natin kanina, gender and development will lead to national development if there's an gender equality and women empowerment. Ito nasa gitna. Kailangan ma-eliminate ang discrimination sa gender. Kailangan may full development of women and participation of women for national development. Okay. God is also a human rights-based development framework that recognizes the legitimacy of gender equality as a fundamental value that should be reflected in every development program. Both men and women must equally contribute to and benefit from development. Ito yung mga development ng gender and development ng batas natin. Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga batas through the years and na-empower yung ating kababaihan at yung ating mga laws na dadagdagan regarding sa ating women empowerment. So ito, Article 2, Section 14, ayan, and 1988 Proclamation number 224 na nagde-declare ng first week of March and every year as Women's Week and March 8 and every year thereafter as Women's Rights and International Peace Day. In 1992 naman, NAPOLCOM issued a memorandum na establish Child and Youth Relations Section. No? And in 1993, nagkaroon ng Women's Desk in Police Stations. Then next, yung 1997 natin, nagkaroon ng Activation of Women and Children Concerns Division, WCCD, under ng Police Community Relations. No? Tapos yung ating Women's Desk, yung sa kapulisan, nagkaroon din ng Women's and Children's Desk. Nagkaroon din ng Institutionalization of Women and Children's Desk ng 1998. And noong 2001, doon na rename yung ating mga sa station na Women and Children Protection Desk. Then comes nung nagkaroon ng pag-transfer ng WCPD under DIDM. No, ito yung sa Investigation and Detection Management. Nagkaroon na ng women's quarters and establishment of daycare centers. So napapansin natin, no, nag-i-improve unti-unti. Then, on 2009, nagkaroon tayo ng batas, RA 9710, an act providing for the Magna Carta of Women, which is 50% ng personnel ay kailangan ay babae sa mga recruitment and training for women in the police force. Yan. Sa God projects tayo pumunta. Nakikita natin ang mga hindi lang sa kapulisan, sa aming organization, merong pag-award sa mga outstanding police women in the Philippines. And then yung sa ating mga orientation seminars na dumadami na for police personnel, not only police personnel, pati sa mga iba-ibang agencies. Nagkaroon din ng dressing rooms, quarters, then yung kaninang nasabi ko, yung daycare center and child minding facilities. Nagkaroon din ng reproductive health and women's diseases awareness program, yan, gender training program, and parenting seminars. Meron din tayong na-promote na, di ba? Meron tayong na-promote na ng mga naging general na mga kababaihan. So nakita natin, our country is practicing ng itong ng mainstreaming ng God. Kasi alam nating lahat na ito'y makatulong sa national prosperity. So we have also the PNP Summit for policemen in relation to men opposed to violence against women everywhere. So yan. Sa client-based community naman tayo. Meron na tayong IEC materials distribution para sa GAD and yung women and children protection para maging aware yung mga citizens regarding ng rights and yung mga batas na magko-control sa pagdami ng mga lumalabag nito at malaman nila yung mga kaakibat na mga punishment. And assessment on the implementation of different WCPD programs. Equipping the Women and Children Protection Desk, school visitation for imparting knowledge on the right of children and law concerning women and children, establishing a system for receiving complaints and calls to assist traffic person in conduct of rescue operations. So ito yung mga batas sa women and children. Itatackle natin briefly dahil ang concentration natin mamaya after nito is yung pinaka-newest na batas na gusto namin na i-cascade sa inyo sa mga students din ng mga CELTIANS. So nakita natin noon taga-tahi lang yung mga mga kababaihan. Nagkaroon ng mga batas and in the 1987 Constitution, ayan, nagkaroon na ng recognition sa mga women na sila ay may role sa nation building. And meron na rin sa Article 8 sa women, the state shall protect working women by providing safe and healthful working conditions, taking into account their maternal functions in such facilities and opportunities that will enhance their welfare and enable them to realize their full potential. Yung law na ito nag-grant ng privileges sa mga kababaihan para sa kanilang leave, shorter hours of work. How about sa Republic Act 7192? Ito naman is an act promoting the integration of women as full and equal partners in development and nation building and for other purposes. So meron na tayong admission sa military school. Nakita natin dumadami na yung sa military na mga kababaihan. Diba? Sa RA 7877 naman, this is an act. Yung sa Sexual Harassment Act, declaring sexual harassment unlawful in the employment, education, or training environment and for other purposes. Ito, mako-commit kasi yung Anti-Sexual Harassment Act sa workplace, educational institution, or training institution. Ang keyword dito is yung authority. Meron tayong Anti-Sexual Harassment Act na rito is yung authority. Halimbawa, teacher to student, yan. Boss to worker, ganon. Influence, yung niya, may influence siya, meron siyang moral ascendancy over another in a work. Like yan, no? Boss, manager, agent, teacher. How? Merong demand or request and requires any sexual favor from the other. Yan. How about Republic Act 8353, Anti-Rape Act? It's an act expanding the definition of the crime of rape, reclassifying the same as a crime against persons, amending for the purpose Act number 3815 as amended, otherwise known as Revised Penal Code, and for other purposes. Yan. How committed? Ito yung sa shall commit an act of sexual assault by inserting his penis into another person's mouth or anal orifice, or any instrument or object into the genital or anal orifice of another person. So under Revised Penal Code, crimes against chastity siya, only women are victims. Pero nung nilabas na itong RA 8353, naging crimes against persons siya. So both men and women may become victims. How about RA 9208 or the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2003? This is an act to institute policies to eliminate trafficking in persons, especially women and children, establishing the necessary institutional mechanisms for protection and support of trafficked persons, providing penalties for its violations and for others. Ito yung mga acts: recruitment, transport, transfer, harboring, receiving of persons through threat or use of force, coercion, abduction, fraud, deception. And yung purpose niya is to exploit, ng prostitution, slavery, forced labor, or removal of organs. Lahat yan classified yan as trafficking. Okay, Section 6, qualified trafficking in persons. Ito, pag sinabing qualified, ang offender ito sa sa amin, it's very clear na yan, may mga kapag sa military mas mabigat kapag marami pa. Nag-mention lang ako ng ilan sa mga provisions. So, ang penalties nito is malaki. 2 million but not more than 5 million. How about RA 9262, which is the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children? Sino yung mga victims dito? Wife or former wife? Has or had a sexual or dating relationship with whom he has a common child, or the child whether legitimate or illegitimate. Under this law, ang violence may be physical, sexual, psychological, or economic. Protection orders. Ito yung binibigay sa mga nabibiktima. Pwede silang lumapit sa barangay for them to have the BPO or Barangay Protection Order, which is 15 days. Ito ay nag-aim na ma-prevent yung mga further acts of violence against dun sa babae o sa anak niya, sa mga bata. Kapag naman nag-lapse na itong 15 days, pwede nang itaas sa TPO na ini-issue to ng court naman for 30 days. And the permanent protection order issued by court and shall remain permanent upon valid grounds. Yan. Who may apply for these protection orders? Siyempre yung offended party. Pwede rin yung parents or guardians ng offended party kahit ayaw ng offended party. Kung ang parents o yung mga nakakakita sa kanya na nakaka-witness, pwede rin sila ang mag-apply. Ascendants, descendants, or collateral relatives within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity or affinity, officers or social workers of the DSWD or social workers of local government units. Yan. Ito yung mga pwede pa, yung mga police officers kami, kapag may nakita rin kami na isang nabibiktima na siya lang, pwede rin namin siyang inano na. And then the punong barangay or barangay kagawad, kapag ni-report sa kanya at mismong siya na witness niya, pwede rin siya. Then lawyer, counselor, therapist, or healthcare provider of the petitioner. At least 2 concerned responsible citizens of the city or municipality where the violence against women and their children occurred and who has personal knowledge of the offense committed. Ayan. Ito yung mga other laws. Kasi covered to kasi ng GAD, yung gender and development natin. Kaya nag-discuss ako briefly. Meron dito rin sa ating mga other laws, yung RA 7610 or child abuse, RA 8972, solo parent, RA 9710, Magna Carta of Women, RA 9775, child pornography, RA 9995, photo and video voyeurism, RA 11313 Safe Spaces Act. Yan ang i-discuss natin after ng Gender and Development, which is the newest law para sa ating lahat maging aware tayo. Lagi natin tatandaan according to a famous philosopher, Socrates, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Yan. Kailangan wag nating labanan yung mga old na kailangan tayo ng dun sa bago para ma-achieve natin yung change. Ayan. So, yung next natin is yung itong ating Safe Spaces Act. Okay. Itong Safe Spaces Act or the Republic Act 11313, ito. This is an act defining gender-based sexual harassment in streets, public spaces, online workplaces, and educational or training institutions, providing protective measures and prescribing penalties therefore. Ayan. Under Section 2, it is the policy of the state to value the dignity of every human person. No? It is likewise the policy of the state to recognize the role of women in nation building and ensure the fundamental equality before the law of women. Ayan, yung ating state nire-recognize din na both men and women must have equality, security, and safety not only in private but also sa streets, public spaces, online workplaces, and educational and training institutions. Yan. Ano nga ba itong Safe Spaces Act? Ano pang mga nito? Special law ito which seeks to eradicate all forms of sexual harassment by recognizing that both men and women must have equality, security, and safety not only in private but also on the streets, public spaces, online, as well as in workplaces and educational institutions. Ito yung background, bakit nagkaroon ng ganitong batas. According kasi sa study, an overwhelming 88% of women aged 18 to 24 years old experience sexual harassment in the streets. No? Meron ding wolf whistling and catcalling. Yan yung mga common cases daw. Makikita natin sa ating pie chart sa screen, mas marami talaga yung nakaka-experience ng any form of sexual harassment sa kanilang buhay. So 61% or 3 in 5 women have experienced sexual harassment at least once in their lifetime. Okay, other forms of sexual harassment include lascivious language, stalking, rubbing, or touching, indecent gestures, exhibitionism, and public masturbation. 58% nito ay nangyayari sa mga streets and small alleys. No? They have also been reported to happen in public vehicles, washrooms, schools, and workplaces. Kaya nabuo itong batas na to, itong Safe Spaces Act. Ano nga bang kaibahan nitong Safe Spaces Act sa RA 7877 or the Sexual Harassment Act? Ayan, Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. This act is committed by a person who, having authority, influence, or moral ascendancy, yan yung keyword, over another in a work or training or education environment, demands, requests, or otherwise requires any sexual favor from the other, regardless of whether the demand, request, or requirement for submission is accepted. Even with this carefully crafted law, it appears that this law does not curtail sexual harassment in the Philippines. So hindi niya talaga nakukover lahat because the same act committed against the superior officer is also not within its purview. So ang covered niya lang is yung superior down to subordinate. Kasi meron nga siyang moral ascendancy. What's new about RA 11313? Bakit binuo ito? Meron namang RA, yung kanina sa ating 7877 or Anti-Sexual Harassment Act. Bakit binuo? Kasi meron dito sa ating bagong batas ng expanded definition, which itong sinabi niya is sexual harassment does not require demand, request, requirement of a sexual favor of the old law. Element of authority, influence, or moral ascendancy or perpetuator not necessary for sexual harassment to be committed. Yung expanded venues nito is yung meron na siya, pwede na siyang makumit sa public spaces, utility vehicles, online spaces. So yung mga victims na nakumit itong ganito is pwede na mag-complain. Pwede nang mag-complain para makasuhan yung mga kailangan sumagot laban sa batas. Comprehensive duties imposed on agencies, private sector to create safe spaces, provide for more comprehensive survivor services. Yan. Ang ating Philippine Commission on Women is a primary policy making and coordinating body on women and gender equality concerns. So sila ang talagang nag-push din itong batas na to para sa katuparan. Itong previously known as the Bawal Bastos Bill, na-sign ito noong April 17, 2019 with the aim of ensuring an individual sense of personal space and public safety. It addresses gender-based sexual harassment in public areas such as streets, privately owned places open to the public, and public utility vehicles, among others. Yan. It also extends the protection even to cyberspace, yung mga sa online na ginagawang mga akala nila wala pang ano na nakaka-cover nito. Ngayon ito covered na lahat itong sa mga ginagawa ng mga crimes sa cyberspace. It covers any person. So dati, sa kababaihan lang, ngayon pati kalalakihan. No? Any person yan. Not only women, but men. And members of the LGBT and children are also protected. So mas malaki ang sakop ng Safe Spaces Act. It is not only women who are protected under this act because it recognizes that anyone can perpetuate sexual harassment and anyone can be a victim of sexual harassment. What are the salient features of this act, no? Safe Spaces Act? Gender-based siya, sexual harassment, and it expands the scope of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. It strengthens the administrative mechanisms against sexual harassment in workplaces and educational and training institutions. It recognizes also the sexual harassment can be committed between peers, sa mga magkakaibigan, kahit biruan yan. Diba? By a subordinate to a superior, or by a student to a teacher, or by a trainee to a trainer. So pwede pala yun. So sakop na yan nitong ating Safe Spaces Act. Penalizes sexual harassment, which also occurs in other environments such as public space and online platforms. Yan. Ano pa yung salient features niya? Outlines the additional duties and corresponding liabilities. May liabilities ng employers or head of schools and training institutions kapag hindi nila pinushto ang batas na to para maganap talaga or mapakis sa kanilang educational institution or sa kanilang company, sa kung some workplaces yan. Both men and women must have equality, security, and safety not only in private but also on the streets, public spaces, online workspaces, and educational and training institutions. Meron tayong 5 kino-cover nitong Safe Spaces Act. Madidiscuss natin itong lahat one by one. So, una is gender-based streets and public spaces, sexual harassment. Second, gender-based online sexual harassment. Third, qualified gender-based streets, public spaces, and online sexual harassment. Fourth, gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace. Fifth, gender-based sexual harassment in education and training institutions, which sa inyo to, sa school, universities, or colleges. Punta muna tayo sa first. Yes. Punta muna tayo sa first, which is the gender-based streets and public spaces sexual harassment. Ano nga ba yung public spaces? This refers to streets, alleys, public parks, schools, buildings, malls, bar, restaurants, transportation terminals, public markets.
Po.
Yes?
Ma'am, hindi po naka-share screen ng maayos, ma'am. Hindi po nakalitaw.
Hindi nakalitaw?
Yung old po yung ano, ma'am. Apo, yung old screen po yung nakalitaw. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Sige.
Mabuhay po kayo, ma'am. Salamat po.
Okay.
Napakaganda po ng delivery niyo, ma'am.
Thank you. Yan. I'm sorry, I was not able to monitor na hindi pa pala siya nakalagay dun sa ating next presentation. So to continue, ito yung kanina sinabi ko, lahat ng mga nangyayari sa public spaces ngayon, yan, covered na yan, itong bagong at ang bagong ano natin, no? Bagong batas. Okay. These are committed through any unwanted and uninvited sexual actions. Kahit hindi invited or unwanted, ano yan, no? Nakita natin, hindi kagaya ng Sexual Harassment Act. No? Regardless of the motive and has threatened one's sense of personal space. Kaya nga siya Safe Spaces Act. Kasi nati-threaten na yung personal space at physical safety ng isang tao, babae ka man o lalaki. Yan. Under Section 4 of this Act, includes catcalling, wolf whistling, unwanted invitations, misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, and sexist slurs, persistent uninvited comments or gestures on a person's appearance, relentless request for personal details, statement of sexual comments and suggestions, public masturbation or flashing of private body parts, groping or any advances, whether verbal or physical, that is unwanted and has threatened one's sense of personal space and physical safety. Ayan. Under Section 4 din, ayan, no? Ang gender-based streets and public spaces sexual harassment, yung nakocommit sa schools, buildings, churches, restaurants, malls, public washrooms, bars, internet shops, public markets, transportation terminals, or public utility vehicles. So dati hindi yan covered ng Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. So ngayon, covered siya sa sa ating Safe Spaces Act, no? Sa ating Safe Spaces Act. Yung catcalling, what is catcalling ba? Yan, refers to unwanted remarks directed towards a person, commonly done in the form of wolf whistling and misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, and sexist slurs. These are rude sexual remarks made by men to women passing by. So mag-ingat tayo lalo na ngayon may batas na bago, maging aware tayo na mapaparusahan na pala sa batas itong ginagawa ko dati na okay lang na gawin. Ngayon pala may batas na nagko-control dito. Gaya ng catcalling, yung pagsabi mong, "Hi, sexy." Oh, saan ka ba pupunta? Beautiful. Yung parang nawawala na yung natitreten yung space ng isang tao. Babae man yan or lalaki. Okay? Catcalling, yan, no? Isa rin yan, yung pag nagsasabi yung kalalakihan, may dumadaan. Diba? O, sarap naman ni ate, yan mga ganyan. Kasama na rin, saklaw na rin ng batas na Safe Spaces Act. How about wolf whistling? This refers to a two-note whistled sound to show interest, especially to a person viewed as physically or sexually attractive. Yung mga pumipito, yung mga pagdadaan, yung magagandang babae or yung mga kalalakihan natin, yung nag-view, di ba? Yung mga ganun na ano. So what about leering or intrusive gazing? This refers to looking or gazing in a lascivious or unpleasant way. So hindi rin talaga karapat-dapat kasi yung ibang mga kababaihan natin nawawala na yung personal safety nila at yung space na hinahanap nila. Kaya ito naipasa itong batas na to. How about taunting? Taunting refers to making a battle cry, sarcastic remark, gesture, or insult intended to demoralize the recipient or to anger them and encourage reactionary behaviors without thinking. How about misogyny? Ang misogyny kasi yan, pag sinabi natin misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, or sexist slurs, yung misogyny, hatred of women ang ibig sabihin yan. Mga nagagalit sa kababaihan, babae salot yan, yung mga ganon. Pwede na kayong masampahan ng kaso kapag pag matapang yung nakarinig sa inyo o yung kababaihan alam niya yung batas na ito at narinig niya ang mga kalalakihan o may kalalakihan man tayo o ating LGBT, mayroong comment, pwede na silang magsampa. Ayan, meron na kasing batas, magsampa ng kaso. How about transphobia? Ito yung having or showing a dislike or a prejudice against transsexual or transgender people. Yung pinipintasan natin yung mga transsexual or transgender people. Covered na rin kasi sila sa batas na to kasi all persons na to, hindi lang sa babae. No? Yung note natin, transgender is a term used to describe people whose gender identity differs from the sex they were assigned at birth, especially those whose bodily characteristics have been altered through surgery or hormone treatment to bring them into alignment with their gender's identity. Yung mga nagpa-opera, yung mga male naging female, naging transsexual sila. Diba? So minsan, namimintas, may maririnig. Hindi alam ng karamihan ngayon dahil bagong batas itong Safe Spaces Act na pwede na pala silang ma-complain or masampahan ng kaso. Homophobia is the fear or hatred naman, discomfort with or mistrust of people who are lesbian, gay, or bisexual. Yung iba nagko-comment, bayot, adiri, hindi nila alam, itong pagsabi nilang ito, maaari na silang masampahan ng kaso. So how about sexist slurs? Ito naman yung term na nagkokonot sa disparagement. Ang disparagement is to criticize someone or something in a way that shows you do not respect or value him or her, yung person. Yan, mga babae, pangkama lang yan. Pag may nakarinig sa'yo at nasabi mo yan, at alam niya ang batas na Safe Spaces Act, you will be already liable. Okay? Let us remember, maging aware tayo sa mga bagong batas na naisasampa para hindi tayo maging kumbaga hindi tayo inosente, kumbaga alam natin lahat ng mga bagong batas para careful din tayo na maaari tayong makasuhan sa ating mga ginagawa na isip natin ay hindi ko naman yan alam. Tandaan natin, innocence is not an excuse. Kaya nga itong ginagawa namin sa iba-ibang schools, we cascade this new act, itong ating bagong batas para rin sa ating mga estudyante, ang mga sa school din, yung administrators, kasi may mga kailangan silang gawin na under din dito sa act na to. Okay? Ito, any advances, whether verbal or physical, any unwanted, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, na nako-commit sa public spaces. Under yan ng ating gender-based streets and public space sexual harassment. Yung persistent uninvited comments, mga appearance gesture, relentless request for personal details. Miss, ano number mo? Anong pangalan mo, miss? Tapos naiinis na yung babae. Diba? Statement of sexual comments and suggestions, covered din yan. How about public masturbation or flashing of private body parts? Yan, yung mga exhibitionism. This involves the deliberate and unsolicited exposure of the genitals to an unwilling audience. It is the most common of all sexual offenses, accounting for sexual crimes in the US, Canada, England, Germany, and Hong Kong, according sa study ni Ruth. Okay? Gender-based streets covered din dito yung groping. Ano ba yung groping? Ayan, pag sinabing groping, it's the feeling or fondling, yung someone na nagfa-fondle ka, tinifeel mo for sexual pleasure. Halimbawa, may iba kasing tao, naghihipo, yan, nasa sasakyan, naghihipo, babae man yan o lalaki, nanyanyansing, yan yung under dyan, groping. Covered na rin yan sa Safe Spaces Act. Making offensive body gestures at someone. Ayan, yan yung isa, exposing of private parts, yung kaninang nasabi ko. Diba, yung exhibitionism. Public masturbation, stimulation of genitals. Pag may sa public ang ginagawa, rin yan, merong karampatang parusa kapag ikaw ay kinasuhan. Under Section 5 naman, ito, gender-based sexual harassment in restaurants naman to. Restaurants, bars, cinemas, malls, buildings. Pwede rin. Itong other privately owned places na open sa public. These establishments are obliged to provide assistance to victims of gender-based sexual harassment. Kapag nakumit yan, pwede natin i-complain, kaya may CCTV footage na sa mga establishment. Pwede natin yan gamitin pag nag-order ang court, lalong-lalo na for evidence. Diba? All restaurant, bars, cinemas, and other places of recreation shall install, install in their business establishment clearly visible warning signs against gender-based public spaces. Kaya ito, kailangan na talagang naka-display yan para aware ang mga tao dito sa ating Safe Spaces Act. Security guards in these places may be deputized to apprehend perpetrators caught in flagrante delicto o yung caught in the act. No? Next, gender-based sexual harassment in public utility vehicles, sa mga sasakyan, sa ating mga jeepneys, no? In addition to the penalties na dito sa act na to, ang LTO pwede rin nilang i-cancel yung license ng mga perpetrators found to have committed acts constituting sexual harassment in public utility vehicles. At pwede rin isuspend ng LTFRB or i-revoke yung franchise ng transportation operators na nagko-commit nitong gender-based streets and public spaces security harassment acts. Under Section 6, itong sa ating public utility vehicles, where the perpetrator is the driver. Kung driver man siya, shall also constitute a breach of contract of carriage, no? For the purpose of creating a presumption of negligence on the part of the owner or operator of the vehicle. So napansin natin pati yung sa jeepney, di ba lahat yan? Under Section 7, gender-based sexual harassment in streets and public spaces committed by minors. Yan, may mga minors tayo, di ba? Na minsan, dahil sa mga bad examples na nakikita nila, ginagawa nila, hindi nila alam mali ito. No? The DSWD or the Department of Social Welfare and Development shall take necessary disciplinary measures as provided for under Republic Act number 9344 or the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006. Pasok din dito ang stalking. Yung mga nag-i-stalk kayo, no? Kikita natin, di ba? Any touching, pinching, or brushing against the genitalia, face, arms, anus, groins, breast, inner thighs, face, buttocks, or any part of the victim's body, even when not accompanied by the previous acts. So yun, yung mga nanyanyansing, pasok talaga dito. Di ba? Prescriptive period, ang offense ay pwedeng mai-prescribe from 1 to 10 years. Kung nangyari ito, pwedeng bumalik ka ng 10 years. No? So pwede yan. Basta kumpleto, meron kang evidence. No? Yan. What are the duties of the LGUs or local government units? Ayan, ito ang duty nila is to their primary responsibility in enforcing these provisions. No? They should pass an ordinance which shall localize the applicability of this act within 60 days of its effectivity. Disseminate or post in conspicuous places a copy of this act and the ordinance. Provide measures to prevent gender-based sexual harassment in educational institutions such as information campaigns and anti-sexual harassment seminars. Yan. Role of DILG. Ayan, sila yung nag-i-inspect, no? Ang DILG. Implementing bodies. Ayan, may na MMDA sa Manila. Local units of PNP, PCW, yung ating sa Women, Commission on Women. DILG, Department of Information and Communications Technology, anti-sexual harassment enforcers. Ito yung meron sa mga company establishments, sa mga schools, yan, and ating mga barangay, yung sa ating anti-sexual harassment desk sa barangay and city halls. Implementing bodies, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, together with yung ating ASHE unit, together with the WCP, of the Women's and Children's Desk of the PNP, shall keep a ledger of perpetrators. Ayan, may ledger ng perpetrators na talagang kinikip yan, who have committed acts prohibited under this act for purposes of determining if a perpetrator is first time, second time, or third time offender. Pansinin natin, nire-record pala yan. Kung first time offender ka, second time, or third time, kasi may karampatang sapat na parusa yan kung first time yan, second time, or third time. Malalaman natin yan mamaya. So DILG shall also ensure that all local government bodies expedite the receipt and processing of complaints. Kailangan mabilisan to, hindi natetengga ang mga complaints, no? Sa mga barangay and city halls, and i-facilitate din yung CCTV, no? Sa mga major roads, alleys, para maproteksyonan ng ating mga community members natin, para sila ay protected saan man sila pumunta. Okay. Specific acts and penalties. Ayan.
Hello? Nagkaroon lang ng technical problem.
Hello, Celtians? So while we are waiting for Ma'am Eileen, we will be sending the link for the raffle entry today. So we will give you enough time to register. Medyo matagal-tagal ang registration time natin ngayon. Magbibigay kami ng 30 minutes for you to register, and then po kailangan i-follow ang instruction. You have to write your course, year, and then your full name. Kung hindi po kompleto yon, i-invalid po natin yung entry, bubunot tayo ng iba. Uulitin ko lamang po, upon registration, you have to write your year, section, and your full name. Kapag hindi, forfeited na po yon at bubunot tayo ng iba. We have a lot of raffle winners for today. So hanggang mamayang awarding ceremony, magbubunot tayo. And then, katulad po ng rule kahapon, kinakailangan nasa Zoom ang winner. Meron lamang siyang 3 minutes to send your GCash details sa ating chat dito sa Zoom. Wala po kaming ibang tatanggapin na transaction kundi dito lamang sa Zoom sa mga winner. So hintay-hintay lang po kayo sa ating link. Siguro 5 times ko po siyang isi-send sa ating chat para makita ng lahat. Wait lang, ita-type ko lang. So alam ko naman, isa to sa inaabangan nyo kasi meron kayong chance na manalo ng 100 GCash load. And then, isang beses lang po allowed na makapag-register. Once na nag-register ka, you are already qualified for our raffle entry for our 3rd day. Uulitin ko lamang po ang ating mechanics for today. Kinakailangan ang winner ay nasa Zoom. And then, you have to send your GCash details sa ating chat dito sa Zoom. Wala po kaming ibang tatanggapin na transaction other than sa Zoom. So, wait lamang po. So, ayan po, na-send na po namin. Eto na, guys. Be ready. Be alert. We will give you 30 minutes to register on our registration. Pagkatapos ng 30 minutes, wala nang pwedeng makapag-register. So, kung hindi ka nasama sa pangalan, nasama ang pangalan mo sa ating raffle draw, ibig sabihin, hindi ka po nag-register. So, you have 30 minutes. Pakibasa po ang instruction. You must follow the given format. Year, course, year, and your full name. Kung hindi po sinunod yung format, forfeited po, ibibigay po natin sa iba yung prize. So, ayan, na-send ko na po. You have 30 minutes, guys. Isang beses lamang po maaring mag-register. So, magre-register ka lamang, meron ka ng chance manalo ng 100 GCash, 100 pesos GCash load. Meron na tayong pang talpak, meron na tayong pang online shopping, di ba? So, register na guys. You have 30 minutes. So, yung mga nanalo kahapon, meron pang chance manalo ngayon kasi another registration to. So, register lang ng register. Alam ko yung iba, 2 beses nang nanalo. Malay mo, manalo ka ulit ngayon, di ba?
Sana nga po, ma'am.
Sayang ang 100 Gcash load. Yung iba, tinatanggihan eh. Hindi sila nag-send ng Gcash load. So, once po,
Wala ako sa libo yan, ma'am.
gusto mo mag-sponsor?
Malbaya na
sorry,
ako, ma'am.
I'm sorry, nagkaroon ng problem dun sa connection.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. To continue yung ating ano. Okay. Share ko lang. Okay. Yan, yung sa ating penalties, nabanggit ko kanina, third offense, yan. 10,000 fine and yung kaakibat din ng pagkakakulong, no? Yan, 11 to 30 days. Okay, how about yung ating mga specific acts and penalties? So, we have the second degree offenses. Ito yung making offensive body gestures at someone, public masturbation, touching of private parts, grouping similar lewd actions. Yan, penalties niyan. Yun din, no? Same, pansinin natin. And yung sa ating second offense, 11 to 30 days, ang ano natin, mas lumakas lang. Kumbaga, mas tumindi na yung penalties. So sa third offense niya, 1 month and 1 day to 6 months na yung imprisonment and 20,000 fine. How about the third degree offenses? Yan, stalking, sexual advances, lahat yan nandiyan, touching, pinching, or brushing against the genitalia. So, ang penalties nito, mas mabigat na. Ang first offense pa lang, 11 to 30 days na ang imprisonment niya, and 30 days yung pag-attend ng ating 30,000, I mean, ng fine, and mag-attend pa siya ng gender sensitivity seminar. Second offense, 1 month and 1 day to 6 months imprisonment. And ayan, yung fine niya. And third offense, palaki ng palaki. So, kaya nagkikip ng record sa ating mga police station. Kung first offense ka, second offense, or third. Kasi may mga karampatang parusa na nakaakibat dun sa nagagawa natin laban dito sa ating Safe Spaces Act. How about gender-based online sexual harassment? Okay, ito naman yung nangyayari sa cyber world, no? Sa sexual harassment online. So, ang tina-target nito is yung particular person, sabi niya, na nagpo-cause ng mental, emotional, or psychological distress and fear of personal safety, sexual harassment acts, including unwanted sexual remarks and comments. Yan. Covered yan. Then includes, yan nga, yung mga information na ginagamit natin sa communicate sa technology and terrorizing in intimidating victims. Okay, ito i-anuhin na natin, magfo-forward na tayo sa ating gender-based. Basta ang tandaan natin ito, pag-upload yan ng sharing ng without ng consent ng victim, ng mga photos, yan, voice, video with sexual content, covered yan under Section 12. Unauthorized recording and sharing of any of the victim's photos, videos, or any information online, and impersonating identities of victims online or posting lies about victims to harm their reputation. Ito, online sexual harassment. Ito yung kanyang summary. Ito yung publicly or through direct message, acts, physical man siya, psychological, emotional threats committed through ICT. Ano yung mga na to? Covered yan, lahat ng sinabi ko kanina ng mga acts. And the effect of acts, kung na-terrorize ba, na-intimidate ba yung victims, na-harm ba yung kanilang reputasyon, or na-invade ba yung privacy nila? Na-threaten ba yung kanilang sense of safety? Yan. So yan, covered yan sa acts punishable online sexual harassment. Okay. Implementing bodies, ito. Ang PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group ang responsible or implementing this provision na to. So implementing bodies, nakikipag-coordinate din sila sa DICT. Okay? Then the penalties for gender-based online sexual harassment, prison correctional. Ayan, yung 6 months to 1 day, 1 day to 6 years in its medium period, or a fine of not less than 100,000 pesos, but not more than 500,000 pesos. Penalties, ayan. So, lampasan na natin yan, ang mga penalties. Punta na tayo sa qualified gender-based streets, public safe spaces, and online sexual harassment. So ito, kaya qualified if the act takes place in a common carrier, ayan or PUV, including but not limited to jeepneys, yan, taxis, tricycles, kapag ang is yung offended party is yung passenger, di ba? Tapos yung driver ng vehicle, yung perpetrator. Second, if the offended party is minor or a senior citizen or person with disability, mas mabigat yun. Qualified na yun. Qualified na gender-based streets, public space, and online sexual harassment na yun. If the offended party is diagnosed with a mental problem, yan. Delayed yung kanyang development ng victim or meron siyang problem sa pag-iisip, yan. If the perpetrator is a member of the uniformed services, yung mga police, mga army, mas mabigat kasi nga qualified na siya na gender-based street online sexual harassment. Okay. Punta naman tayo sa workplace. Medyo na-delay kasi tayo, so paspasan natin kasi may next speaker pa. Itong sa workplace, same din naman, ang under section 16, ito yung any unwelcome or sexual advances, request, or demand na nangyayari sa workplace, no? Okay, yan, yung mga boss na nag-chancing sa kanilang mga subordinate, or kabaliktaran din, pwede rin yun. Kasi sa Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995, yung covered niya, yung may moral ascendancy, ngayon pwede nang baliktad. So pwedeng ang trainee sa trainer, di ba? Yung secretary sa kanyang boss, o covered na niya. Then ito, a conduct of sexual nature and other conduct based on sex affecting the dignity of a person which is unwelcome, unreasonable, and offensive to the recipient. A conduct that is unwelcome and pervasive and creates an intimidating, hostile, or humiliating environment for the recipient. Yan. Information and communication system, ito, refers to a system for generating, sending, receiving, storing, or otherwise processing electronic data messages. So pwede rin yan. Sa computer, di ba lahat? Di ba sa workplace, nandyan lahat, covered yan. Pati sa text messaging, electronic mail, sa mga email. Yan, magiging mga evidence, no? Pieces of evidence yan na kailangan nating i-present sa court once na nagkaroon na ng kasuhan. Okay. A conduct of sexual nature and other conduct based on sex affecting the dignity of a person which is unwelcome, unreasonable, and offensive. Basta yun ang keyword. Hindi siya wine-welcome, hindi siya reasonable at offensive siya dun sa recipient. Okay. Intimidating, hostile, or humiliating environment para sa recipient. Lahat yan. Ayan, committed to a superior officer by a subordinate, pwede yun. Teacher by a student, or a trainer by a trainee. Ayan. Information and communication system, ayan, yung kanina natin yan. And sa pag-disseminate ng post, may duty ang employer dyan. Kailangan naka-display yan sa conspicuous place. Yung copy ng act na to. Kasi nga bagong batas itong Safe Spaces Act. Kailangan maikalat ito, kumbaga ma-cascade sa lahat ng mga members ng mga workers sa isang company. So kailangan yan. What is CODI? Yan. Yung CODI is the Committee on Decorum and Investigation. Ito yung mga nag-a-address ng mga complaints. Kaya sa isang workplace, sa isang company, kailangan yan. Sila yung mag-investigate. Ayan, ito yung mga duties ng CODI. Sila yung magre-represent ng management, yung sa mga kung merong mga complaints. Yan, they will designate a woman. Kailangan babae ang head. And not less than half of its members should be women. So nakita natin may siya, no? So kung sa school, kung ang employee covered siya, mamaya meron din siyang ganito. Composed of members who should be impartial, walang connection kung hindi siya related dun sa perpetrator. Okay? And mag-investigate siya ng complaints within 10 days or less upon receipt thereof. Right? Yan. Code of conduct sa workplace. Ayan. Meron din silang binubuo na ganyan dapat para yun yung maging guide nila sa ng complaints, no? Pag-push through ng mga complaints. Ito, duties of employees and co-workers. Ayan. They should refrain from committing acts, discourage the conduct of gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace, provide emotional or social support to fellow employees, co-workers, colleagues, or peers, report acts of gender-based sexual harassment witnessed in the workplace. May liabilities ang employers kapag hindi nila sinunod yan under Section 19. Non-implementation of this, mananagot sila under Section 19. Yes? Okay. So, punta na tayo. I-fast track na natin sa, yan, under na sa education and training institutions. Yan. Sa school, yan, sa inyo, guys sa CELTEC, yan. You should designate an officer in charge to receive complaints regarding violations of this act. So, kailangan yan under Section 21. Ensure that victims are provided with a gender-sensitive environment that is both respectful to the victim's needs and conducive to truth-telling. No? Every school must adopt and publish grievance procedures. No? Then even if an individual does not want to file a complaint, ayaw nung estudyante, kung estudyante man yung ng perpetrator, no, ang nakaranas nung paglabag dito sa batas na to. The school should promptly investigate still, no, to determine the veracity of such information or knowledge and the circumstances. So mananagot ang school kapag hindi siya nakagawa ng any action. Kahit na sabihin chismis lang yan, yung kumakalat na chismis, kailangan meron pa ring action taken ng school. If a school knows or reasonably should know about acts of gender-based sexual harassment or sexual violence being committed that creates a hostile environment, the school must take immediate action to eliminate the same acts, prevent their recurrence, and address their effects. Okay. Yan. Kapag isang perpetrator, meron ng right to strip the diploma. Itong mawawala na siya ng diploma. Ayan. Or issue an expulsion order. Kailangan meron ding Committee on Decorum and Investigation ang school. No? Lahat ng education na institution, kailangan meron ito and magpa-abide sila sa rules na contained sa Code Manual nila. Okay? Ito, what are the duties of school heads? Ito. Yan. Pasadahan lang natin to. Ito yung mga duties ng school heads na kailangan din nilang fulfill para hindi sila managot dito sa batas na to. Yan, provide, disseminate. Kung kailangan nagdi-disseminate tayo regularly, no? Yan, liabilities of school heads, no? Who has the authority? Yung mga itong principal, school heads, teachers, instructors. No, meron silang moral ascendancy over another in an educational or training institution may also be held responsible for non-implementation of their duties under Section 22. So yan, failure to act on reported acts of gender-based sexual harassment committed in the education institution. Pag na hindi sila naggawa ng action, walang action taken. Yan na yung kanilang liability ng school heads. So pasadahan natin ha. So may mga punishment. Sa students naman, okay, minor students who are found to have committed acts of gender-based sexual harassment shall only be held liable for administrative sanctions by the school as stated in their school handbook. Okay? Ito, may routine inspection ng ating Department of Education at ang CHED, ating TESDA. Yan. Confidentiality. Yan. Talagang kailangan may confidentiality ang lahat ng cases. That merong rights ang victim yan. No? And minor, lalo na yung minor, no? Ma-recognize natin yung confidentiality. Restraining order, yung gaya nung diniscuss ko sa inyo kanina. Then remedies, ayan. Pasadahan na natin yung remedies. Ito yung mga pag may kino-complain sa kanila, no? Yan. Pasadahan natin. Kasi meron pa akong, okay. Exemptions, ito. Acts that are legitimate expressions of indigenous culture and tradition. Yan, gaya ng breastfeeding sa public areas, hindi yan penalized. Okay? Yan. Everyone has a need to be valued and respected. Make sure you give others the respect that you would like in return. So I hope na ganun tayo. So that we will be respected in return, we should also respect others. Kasi respect begets respect. Okay, I have prepared for you a video. 7-minute video lang siya. Kasi nakulangan na tayo sa oras. I-share ko. Okay, this video is one of the project kasi ng PNP, yung aming project virtual bisita eskwela or project vibes, no? I am strong kasi we want the students to become strong. Acronym for strong. Ayan, strong, 'di ba? Ano natin? Kanina sinabi niyo strong, talented, 'di ba? Responsible, obedient, nice, and God-fearing. Yun yung gusto nating sa mga estudyante. So I hope this will help na ma-summarize yung Safe Spaces Act, and may isa akong dinagdag yung sa 9262. Picturean nyo nga ako. Para sa lang, natin sa Project Vibes. Meron tayong compliance na.
Face mask.
Ayo, face mask. Dito pa, i-cover mo pa yung isa dito.
Yun talaga yung pinapanood.
Thank you.
Ma'am, wala po talagang sounds.
Ma'am, wala pong sounds.
Excuse po.
Ma'am, wala pong sound.
Ma'am, wala pong sound.
Wala pong sounds.
Wala pong sound.
Wala
Wala
pong
pong
sounds.
sounds, ma'am. Wala pong sound.
Wala pong sound.
Okay na, anak. Ayusin lang.
Kung nasa inyo, dapat ko laminated talaga para mag-laminate. Oo, nasin na to. Sabihin ko sa office. Yeah, I school ID. Sige na. Oo. Diba na ako na? Kinuha na lang para kinuha. Pwede lang po. Sa may balik na po. Ayun. Balik na po. Kaya.
Morning, ma'am. That's
Oh,
okay. So I would like to turn now the time to the facilitator.
Thank you very
ma'am.
much po, Police Major
Thank you po,
Eileen
ma'am.
Rose. Okay, now for the open forum, everyone is welcome to ask questions for our speaker. Chat your messages. Okay, anyone who has questions for our speaker? Question, clarification.
Hanggang kailan yung pasok, ma'am?
Question regarding the talk.
Ilan po yung grade?
From Sir Hemerson, thank you, ma'am, for the knowledge. We learned a lot from your fruitful seminar. Thank you po. God bless you po.
Guys, we will be entertaining messages about the said webinar or the discussion that was done by Ma'am Aileen.
A message from Edmar Matito Castro. Wala naman pong question, ma'am. Salamat po sa webinar. Napakaganda po ng delivery ng session. God bless and keep safe po.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Any more messages, question, clarification about the said topic?
None po, ma'am.
Hello, Ma'am Eileen. Can we request for the PowerPoint and the video?
Yes, I'll be sending to you. Just give me the email address where I can send it. Thank you.
Thank you very much po, ma'am. From Paula Jean Franco, thank you, ma'am. Napakaganda po ng binahagi niyo sa amin. God bless and stay safe always po. Okay, to wrap up, thank you very much again, Ma'am Eileen, for your time and knowledge for imparting to our Celsian students. To wrap up the session, we welcome Ms. Eleni M. Sibug for the awarding of certificate to our dear speaker, Ma'am Eileen Rose S. Tanger.
Good morning to everyone. It's my privilege to award this certificate of commendation to Police Major Aileen Rose S. Stranger, Chief Police Community Affairs and Development Section, in recognition of this valuable contribution as a resource speaker for the online Kumustahan webinar series entitled Igniting the Nationalism of a Celtian, Awareness in Protecting the Vulnerable Sectors. The topic, the RA 11313 Safe Spaces Act and Gender and Development. Given this fourth day of June 2021, in the year of our Lord 2021, at Central Luzon College of Science and Technology Incorporated, signed by me, the academic head, Ms. Aleni M. Sibug, together with our Senior Vice President, Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Rene Paulo M. Legaspi, and our Dean, College of Criminal Justice Education, John M. Kandare. Thank you very much, Ma'am Aileen Rose as stranger for giving us time for this webinar. So kindly give a virtual clap to our speaker, Ma'am Rose.
Thank you very much as well for listening, for attentively listening. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Thank you po.
Any final message, Ma'am Aileen?
Final message ko lang is yun nga, respect begets respect. We should respect each other's privacy, and also we should also cascade what we have learned today to others na alam natin hindi pa nila alam, so we can contribute na mapakalat itong bagong batas na to. Yun lang, and have a safe day and have a blessed day today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We're hoping you to join us again on our other webinar series. Thank you, ma'am. Get safe for God.
Thank you as well.
Again, thank you very much po, Ma'am Eileen, for the wonderful and informative talk. To proceed with our program, to introduce again our second speaker, may we call on once again Ma'am Zen Bakani for the proper introduction of our speaker.
Thank you, Ma'am Tricia. So for our next speaker, may we all welcome the Acting Chief Investigation Office of the Camp Olivas, Police Inspector Arnold Makabasag. Sir, welcome po sa CELTEC. So bago po mag-start si Sir Arnold Makabasag, may we request everyone to open their camera as a respect for our speaker.
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Good
morning, sir.
Actually, the present rank now is so-called police lieutenant. The previous rank, although the same is classified as police inspector, but today they called us Police Lieutenant Arnold Makabasag. And I am the Acting Chief Investigations of the Regional Mobile Force Battalion 3, ma'am. Can we proceed, ma'am, for the last two topics?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. For a while, ma'am, for a while. Ano ko naka-open na to? Nakita na po ba, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, where's my camera? The first topic, I have the two topics designated to me. One is the anti-hazing law. The second is the old law, the dangerous comprehensive dangerous drug Act 2002. But we will first discuss the first law, the Republic Act 11503, which is previously known as the Republic 8049. So that is ang Republic 8049, and in 2018 it was amended, pinay-steeper pa yung penalty, pinalaki pa yung penalty. So we have now the new anti-hazing law of 2018, or the Republic Act 11503. First, we have to define what is hazing. Refers to any act that results in physical or psychological suffering, harm, or injury inflicted on a recruit, neophyte, applicant, or member as part of an initiation rite or practice made as a prerequisite for admissions or requisites for continuing membership in a fraternity, sorority, or organization, including applicant member, to do menial, silly, or fully task. So, yung concept ng hazing natin, kung makikita nyo, dati siyang physical lang, puro physical infliction of pain. Okay? Like pinapalo, sinasaktan, pinadadapa. So, more, yung Republic Act 8049, more on physical aspect, physical pain. But in the present law, it is included not only physical, but also included the psychological suffering. Okay? So, lumawak yung concept ni anti-new hazing law. So, kasama dyan, yan, yung pagpapadel. Baka meron sa inyo, kasama na sa grupo ng mga fraternities, no? Maybe perhaps na-experience na ito. Yung whipping, beating, branding, force, calisthenics, okay, yung mga persahang pagpa-exercise, okay? Tapos yung exposure to the weather, kahit tanghaling tapat dyan, okay? Pinabibilad as a way to be accepted in the organization or fraternities. Forced consumption of any food. Okay? Kahit panis siguro, okay? Para matanggap ka sa grupo, sapit ang pagpapakain, pagpapainom, okay? And other substances, other substances. Another brutal treatment or physical activity which is likely to adversely affect physical and psychological health of such recruit, neophyte, applicant, or member. So napakalawak. Anong kahit iba-ibang mga aktibidades basta pertaining to physical and psychological adverse effect, it might be concluded as a concept, pasok sa concept ng anti-new hazing law. And others, no? It also included any activity intentionally made and otherwise by one person alone acting with others that tends to humiliate. Ito na yung psychological aspect natin. okay, pinapahiya natin, okay, embarrassing, degrading, abusing, or endangering by requiring a recruit neophyte applicant member to do menial, silly, or fully task. So, andyan na siguro dyan, pipiringan kayo ng mata, okay? Tapos, papahawakan yung ganito, pipiringan kayo ng mata, siguro, ibababa yung underway. Kung ayaw mo, hindi ka tatanggapin sa grupo. So, yung mga ganung embarrassment. So, wala kang magagawa para pakapasok ka. So, you will just abide to them. So, kasama yan sa ating mga psychological suffering. So, ano ba talaga yung mga pinagbabawal dito sa anti-hazing niyo after the definition of the anti-hazing? As defined, okay, all forms of hazing shall be prohibited in fraternities, sororities, and organization schools, including citizens military training and citizens army training. Okay? Hindi lang yung mga school-based na grupo na sororities o fraternities, including the non-school-based, yung mga grupo sa yung mga fraternities doon sa labas na hindi nakabase sa school, kasama yan sa coverage ng ating hazing. It so happen, hindi sila monitor. Okay? It so happen, yung schools, walang participation doon sa fraternity na yun and fraternity and sorority initiation. But pag ginamit yan sa school, ginawa yan sa school, their schools also has the responsibility and accountability. This prohibition shall likewise apply to all fraternities and sororities and organizations that are not school-based, such as community-based and other similar fraternities and sororities and organization. As you can see also in the applicability, kasama din yung training sa police, no? Military and PAP. Ganun ba, sir? Yes, in there some exemption, in some way, pag lumabag sila sa coverage ng anti-hazing law, it may be included. But there are some instances na kung saan wherein this anti-hazing law is not applicable. Okay? Ano yun? One, that the physical mental practices to determine and enhance the physical, mental, and psychological fitness of prospective regular members of the ANP and the PNP approved by the Secretary of National Defense and National Police Commission. So sabi natin kanina, general rule, pasok si anti-hazing law, si military health training at si police training, provided merong qualification. Okay? That is duly recommended by the Chief of Staff and the Director General of the PNP. So, pag nandun kayo sa training, hindi lahat ng ginagawa nila is exceptional. Pasok sa exception. Kasi pag pinalo na kayo doon, binat na kayo, pinadal na kayo, at another psychological suffering, humiliation, hindi yan covered sa anti-hazing law. What is accepted here, basta recommended yan ng Chief of Staff and the PNP Chief, yung mga, kasi hindi pa pwedeng sa training ka, yung mga pinapagawang exercises, hindi yan kasama sa anti-hazing law kasi pinapalakas tayo. At the same time, we are designed to run after the criminals. Kailangan maging malakas tayo. So yung mga exercises na to is not part yan anti-hazing law, including the military training. What else the exception included? The customary athletic events and other similar contests or competitions or any other activity conduct that furthers a legal and legitimate objective. Okay? So, although papasok ka sa isang organization sa sports, for example, taekwondo, may mga exercises and practices diyan na kung saan uupo ka diyan ng yung legs mo pinapalapat sa wall, okay? Pinapalapat yan sa wall para maging strength yung mga pagsipa. But again, that's not included because there is a common objective and design therein para maging competitive ka in that particular sports. So in that way, such customary and athletic events in which it has a legal and legitimate objective, hindi yan pasok sa anti-hazing law, but however, It is an accepted exemption ng anti-new hazing law. Okay. Let's proceed further. Now let's go. What if kung ang fraternities and sororities ay nasa eskwelahan? Okay? What are the regulations provided therein under the law? Anong dapat mangyari? First, there must be a written applications to conduct initiations, right, shall be made to the proper authorities of the school, not later than 7 days prior to the scheduled initiation. Imagine, kung ikaw may grupo, example, sa CELTIANS, may fraternity kayo dyan, the group itself, the fraternity, must apply the applications 7 days, 1 week prior ng initiation. So you must inform the school. And that the written application shall indicate the place and date of initiation rites and the names of the recruits, neophytes, and applicants to be initiated and the manner by which it will conduct the initiation. Doon sa sinulat yung application niyo sa school na magkakanda kayo, nakasulat doon sa application din yung mga names ng officer, pati na rin yung mga recruits. Okay? At paano gagawin initiation. Okay? That's part of the regulation. School-based. Next, the initiation rites shall not last more than 3 days. Hindi lalagpas ng 3 araw in initiation na yan. Then, the application shall contain the names and convents of officer, as I have said earlier. Okay, kasama sila dyan kasi meron silang full responsibility and accountability doon sa pagkandak ng initiation. Kasi dapat sa written application kasama itong mga officers ng fraternity, sorority, or the organization. The application shall be under oath with a declaration that it has been posted in the official school bulletin board or the bulletin board of the office of the fraternity, sorority, organization, and 2 other conspicuous places in the school. Okay? Dapat yan, yung written application yan, nakalagay yan sa at least 2 na kitang-kita, okay, ng mga estudyante, ng mga empleyado, ng mga schools, factors, instructors, na merong written application na merong magaganap na initiation ng fraternity of such school. Okay? At least 2, okay, makikita. In the conspicuous places of the school premises. What else? The application shall be posted from the time submission of the written notice to the school authorities and head of organization shall all be removed from each posting 3 days after the conduct of initiation. Baka kasi mayroong mangyari, okay? Pag mayroong mangyari, sana wala naman, so hindi kagad inaalis yung mga nakapost na yan doon sa lugar na yon na pinasabi pa, pagpasok sa school, may bulletin board doon, naka-apply, hindi kagad yan aalisin. Until 3 days after, pagkalipas ng 3 araw, matapos ang initiation rites. Doon pa lang po, pwedeng tanggalin yung application ng conduct ng initiation of the said fraternity, sororities, organization in the school base. Okay. So that is the regulations. Okay. Para maging regulate, kaya na sa school, para ma-regulate, hindi basa-basa gagawin, it must be regulate. There must be procedures in order to conduct of the initiation rites. Otherwise, there will be penalty sanctioned by the law. Okay? As I've said earlier, okay, the comparisons between the previous law, 1849, the old anti-hazing law, with the present anti-new hazing law of 2018, pinataas ang penalties. Okay? Pinataas ang penalties, including the fines. Okay? Including the fines. Now, what are the penalties under the present law? Republic Act 11-503. As you can see, with respect to the participating officer and members of the fraternity who were involved in the hazing, okay? Assuming na mayroong mangyaring masama doon, okay? At hindi nasunod yung hazing na yon, the officers who participated in the initiation rites shall be penalized for reclusion temporal and 1 million. Okay? What is reclusion temporal? Alam ng mga criminology students yan. The reclusion temporal is punishable by 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. That is the range. That is the duration range of the penalty. of these offenders, participating officers, with a fine, take note, and a 1 million. Okay, malaki-laki yan. So that is the hints. Remember the last case of natin dito is yung panon kay nung taga UST, okay, ng mga legal ng mga law student doon sa UST. Kaya yan nagkaroon ng inamend si 8049. Mukhang kasi hindi natatakot si fraternities and sororities eh. So what the Congress did, pinataas nilang penalty para again to give emphasis, bigyan ng pangil itong si anti-hazing law. The second offense, members who actually participate in the hazing who under the influence of alcohol or drugs or non-resident or alumni who participate in the hazing initiation. O kung ikaw naman members ka pero under influence ka ng drugs, alcohol, okay? Tsaka mga alumni at iba pang mga tao doon na hindi members, basta nag-participate ka sa illegal and unauthorized initiation of rights, this time, mas mataas ang penalty. Reclusion perpetua and 2 million. Bakit, sir? Yung isa si officer, is a member. Because of the influence of the alcohol and drugs. Kasi there are times, hindi nila alam, yung napaparticipate sa initiation rights, umiinom mo nila para maging malakas ang loob, para makapagpanakit. Okay? Para hindi nila umiinom or under the influence of drugs, as the case may be. So there, they will be penalized if they be caught and napatunayan under the rules and evidence, they will be penalized for reclusion perpetua. Again, what is this the duration range of this imprisonment? That is 20 years and up, 20 years and 1 day and above. Okay? So that is reclusion perpetua. Again, with a fine of 2 million. Mas mataas to. What else? With respect to participated in incident that resulted in death, rape, sodomy, or mutilation. O, meron namang na-conduct initiation, merong namatay. Ito yung kaso ng UST last time. Okay? Or kaya merong ginahasa. Or, okay, the same sex, merong sexual activities nangyari. Ito si officer, sabi siguro, oy, kailangan babaeng applicants or lalaki. Merong sexual activities para matanggap ka. O, itong mangyayari, itong papagawa. Oh. And it is penalized for reclusion perpetua. Okay? This time, mas mataas ang fine, 3 million. Perpetua, 20 years and 1 day to 40 years yan. Now, what if the school approved the initiation of fraternity sorority organization where hazing occurred? Okay? The school officers, okay, the head officers was knowledge of the granting of approving of such unauthorized initiation. This time, hindi sila makukulong, but they will be penalized for 1 million. Okay? The school. Kasi nga, meron siyang written application, meron written application doon sa kanila. Of course, ang kanilang responsibility, they have to see to it that it is organized. Walang mangyayaring physical pain or psychological suffering. If it is hindi nasunod yun, the school officers or the head or the management will be penalized for a fine of 1 million. Now, anyone who intimidates or threatens another for recruitment, this includes persistence and repeated proposals or invitation to those who refuse to join at least twice. Yung classmate mo gustong sumama, ayaw pasalihin, pero gustong pinipilit mo, tinakot mo pa. Walang problema yung pag-imbita eh. Pero ang pag-imbita, pag hinaluan mo ng pananakot yan at may pagbabanta para sumali sa organization nyo, sa fraternity and sororities, you are covered under anti-new hazing law. Okay? Pinasukan mo kasi ng pananakot or threatens, okay? Para makapasok sa grupo nyo. This time, you will be penalized for prison correctional, okay? That is 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. But no fine involved. What about the former co-officers, alumni who try to hide or obstruct the investigation? May nangyari. Okay, may nangyari na. But yung mga officers noon, okay, at yung mga alumni, officers ng na paternity, instead of obstruction of justice, okay, pwede pa silang makasuhan aside from the obstruction of justice sa investigation na ginagawa, another separate offense, separate distinct offense, they could be confronted of. Ito yon, anti-hazing law. Aside from the obstruction of justice, PD 1829. Okay? Presidential Decree 1829, obstruction of justice, at the same time, new anti-hazing law because of the hiding of or obstructing in the investigation conducted with respect to the unauthorized of initiation rights of this fraternity and sorority. If the offender is a member of the bar, okay, kung abogado naman yan, o kaya another profession, of course, meron silang kakarapin na disciplinary proceeding or disciplinary case. Okay, it might be result to the forfeiture or cancellation of their permit or license or a disciplinary sa bar kung ikaw ay lawyer. Okay? So that is the new hazing law, the new anti-hazing law. But again, for the purpose of comparison of the present and the old law, the old and the present law, again, the previous law, it only focuses on, the old law focuses on the physical pain. But in the present law, the physical and the psychological suffering included in the present law, Republic Act 11503. And it covers all kind of forms of hazing, okay? Not only the school-based, but also the outside-based school, outside the school-based, okay? So long as that initiation conducted with the physical and psychological suffering. Eh sir, paano kung hindi nagreklamin yun, NEPA, walang problema. Kung hindi nagreklamo, so sabihin, he waived or she waived his right. Eh paano ko sir kung nagreklamo ay magulang? Well, that's the problem. Kung meron na ngayon nag-interfere na si parents at nakita ay hindi naman okay naman kay neophyte, kay member, kay recruited, okay? Okay lang sa kanya. But the parents disagreed on what happened to him or to her son or her daughter. So the case will prosper. Yes, mapaprosper yan. Again, anti-hazing law is not a private crime, but it's a public crime. It can be prosecuted even not by the injured parties, even the parents, even the police officer. So mapupurso yan. The law requires schools to be more active and proactive in regulating the school-based initiation rights. So under the present law, kaya nga merong regulation. Kailangan nagpa-participate in the school nito. Okay? Kaya meron written application sa kanila na magkakaroon ng initiation o binibigyan sila ng role, ng participation to be more active and proactive. So nandun sila dapat para ma-monitor na hindi mababalit ng law at walang masasaktan. Otherwise, they will be also penalized for a fine 1 million. All members of the fraternity sorority organization who participated in an authorized initiation rights, even if no hazing was conducted, shall be punished accordingly. Okay? Sabi natin kanina, okay, na including the officers, okay? Kahit hindi yan walang nasaktan, walang na-rape, but it is not follow the procedures. Okay? Kaya nga meron nilagay yung regulation na yan para sundin. Again, they will be confronted, sanctioned under the law. Persons who had knowledge of any hazing acts committed but failed to report it to the authorities or to those to be found guilty of hiding, concealing, hampering, or obstructing investigation should be penalized. This time, okay, na meron kong alam, merong investigation nangyayari, but hindi mo sinabi, o kaya pag natanong ka at hindi mo disclose yung information, okay, by way of obstructing the investigation conducted, you will be also included in the investigation. You will be also sanctioned under the law. Okay? You might be charged for the accessories. Kasi because of your knowledge of these unauthorized hazing acts. Okay. That's all for the first topic. Unless kung merong question before we proceed to the most important one, the comprehensive dangerous drug acts, we will proceed. Hello, ma'am.
Hello
Kung
po.
yes, ma'am. Kung meron tayong questions regarding upon forum regarding first topic, kung wala, we will proceed to the second topic, the most important, the Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002.
Okay, guys. If you have question regarding the anti-hazing law that was discussed earlier, you can ask your questions now. Questions, clarification again regarding the RA 8049 anti-hazing law.
As amended by Republic Act 11503, sir, ma'am. Okay.
One question po from Claire Leonardo. Paano nalalaman o mahuhuli ang nag-conduct ng hazing kahit na sinabi lang?
Kahit sinabi lang. Kahit sinabi lang, ma'am? What again, ma'am? Sino nagsabi, ma'am?
Ulitin ko po yung tanong
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Claire Leonardo.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait po. Paano nalalaman o mahuhuli ang nag-conduct ng hazing kahit na sinabi lang? Tapos po, ako mismo yung biktima.
Okay. Kung ako yung biktima, ma'am, of course, under the law, we have this evidence, which so-called the physical evidence. Okay? Of course, and I am kung ako yung victim, this testimonial evidence ng victim. Kasi kung ako yung biktima, tapos ako magreklamo, na-rape ako, pinalo ako, ganyan sa hazing yun, of course, the evidence could be proved by my affidavit, testimonial evidence. Of course, the medical certificate, the pictures, kung may mga pasa ako, medical certificate, I was examined, ganito nangyari sa akin. And included in the affidavit is the culprits, the offenders. And submitted into the court, meron tayong procedure diyan. Kung yan ay inquest, kung yan ay pasok pa sa regulatory period, pwedeng inquest lang yan. Pero kung hindi na, regular filing, it could be filed in the office of the prosecutor. And of course, then, it will be, magkakaroon ng probable cause yan. Then thereafter, the prosecution will file an information. Pagkaroon ng information, then meron tayong kaso pag-uusapan. Yes, ma'am. Did I answer it, Miss Claire, Mrs. or Miss Claire Leonardo, ma'am?
Ang sabi din po ni Miss Claire, wala ako medical, basta nangyari lang. It is late now. It is late. Now lang ako nagkalakas ng loob. Hindi pa nag-conduct ng investigation. Hindi pa mag-conduct ng investigation, if ever.
Okay, ma'am. Kung ngayon lang titingnan din natin yung prescription, okay? Kung yan ipasok pa sa prescription, meron tayong natawag kasi prescription period. Kung pasok pa yan, well, the same. Kailangan, kasi kung pipasa yan, so wala na tayong medical certificate. We could have circumstantial evidence. Ano yung mga circumstantial evidence? Testimonya ko ng affidavit ng injured party as well as the testimony ng other tao, ng other witnesses mo para mag-corroborate sa mga ikakaso natin. Then para ngayon mapaniwalaan ni piskal na merong probable cause to charge the offenders kung wala tayong medical certificate. Circumstantial evidence would warrant to establish the probable cause against the offenders.
I thank you very much, sir, for that clarification. Another question po from Aroho Paul. Sir, for example, is it okay for a police officer to be part of a fraternity?
Fraternity, well under the law, the right to form an organization, wala nang problema yan. Allowed naman yan. What is prohibited, allowed naman yan sa PNP. Ang what matters is you have to, kung meron kang ina-applyan, you have to disclose. You have to disclose what are the membership, what is your organization that you are included, and that's all. Walang problema. There's no prohibition on the matter. What is prohibited under anti-initiation law is yung conduct initiation, which is not following the procedures, the regulation, plus merong physical and psychological suffering sa ating mga members na to be recruited, ating mga bagong kasama o sasali sa mga ating mga organisasyon, doon nagiging punishable si anti-New Hazing law. Okay, ma'am?
Thank you, sir. Another question po from Carla Dongka. Excuse po, is fraternity an illegal association?
Are different?
Is fraternity an illegal association po?
Is fraternity is illegal association?
Opo.
And the fraternity itself, the name itself, it's not illegal. Okay? The fraternity, the sorority, is not illegal. It is not legally per se incorrect. It's not a per se illegal. What make this fraternity and sorority illegal, okay, under anti-New Hazing law, when this fraternity and sorority, when conducting their initiation rites for their neophytes and recruits, they will be suffering from physical and psychological suffering. That's the time that this fraternity and sorority become illegal insofar as the conduct of initiation. But the group itself, because even the Constitution allows to form the organization, okay? But the group itself is not illegal. What makes this illegal under this law is the conduct of initiation na magkakaroon ng physical suffering sa conduct ng initiation. Ma'am?
Yes po, sir. Thank you very much po. Another question po is from Harley Dave Cruz. Sir, papaano po ba malalaman if meron ng frat sa isang lugar or school po?
Papaanong malalaman kung merong frat sa isang school? Okay, again, kung this is kasi meron tayong mga fraternities na long established before, okay? May tinatawag tayo mga juridical personality na kapag iyan ay naka-registered na sa Security Exchange Commissions, okay? So meron silang juridical personality, okay? May mga organization naman na wala pang juridical personality. Well, they can be called as an organization, but as to papaano, unang-una i-check nila sa SEC kung meron. Kung hindi sila naka-SEC, still they have to inform the school kung iyan ay school, kung yan ay school based. Pero other than that, kung hindi yan school based, we have no ways to determine. But kung nasa school yan, they have to inform the school, or kung naka-inform niya sa school, we have to determine or check if they are registered under the Security Exchange Commission.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much po.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, any more questions, clarification, or comments regarding the anti-hazing law talk or session? If none, maybe we can proceed na po to the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. For a while, ma'am, I'll just share it.
Hi, sir.
Hello. Ayan. Hello. For a while, ma'am, ha? For a while.
Take your time po, sir.
Uy, Hello, ma'am.
Uy, ayaw. Hello, ma'am. Nakikita mo ba?
Yes, sir.
Nakikita na po.
Yes po.
Okay, let's proceed with the this Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002. So this is already almost 19 years existing. The previous law is Republic Act 6425. 19 it was started 1972. Thereafter, almost 30 years na-create pa si Dangerous Drug Act 2002. This is very controversial law kasi because of the drug war of the President Duterte. Now, let's go first the definition of terms. Administer. When you say administer, it's any act of introducing any dangerous drug into the body of any person with or without her or his knowledge by injection, inhalation, ingestions, or other means of committing any act indispensable assistance to a person. Okay? Andiyan yung sinisinghot, okay? Nagpapa-inject, okay? So that is administering of drugs. Chemical derivation, so as you can see, meron tayong mga controlled precursors and essential chemicals. Okay? Nilalagay yan, nililabel nila. Sasabihin nila pagkain, drugs, ayun pala, ang totoo, ang laman pala noon, hindi pala toyo yun, hindi pala suka. Ang laman pala noon, shabu na pala, marijuana, cocaine. So that is mga chemical diversion. Clandestine na laboratory, okay? Ito may mga paggawaan dyan ng mga shabu, okay? Pasikretong laboratory yan na paggawaan pala. So that is also under the definitions. We have the confirmatory test, okay? Ano naman yung confirmatory test? 'Di ba? Para drug test ka, tapos may random drug test, tapos may screening test yan. After ng screening test, i-confirm yan ng confirmatory test. So ang tawag dyan is confirmatory test to validate the result of the screening test. Such confirmatory test, that is the time that will be used the evidence against the person who found to be positive, not the screen test, but rather the confirmatory test. Controlled delivery, ito yung mga chemicals na para maging ma-create, okay, na into a illegal drugs. Okay? What is unlawful here, what is prohibited here is unlawful or suspect on consignment of any dangerous drug and controlled precursor. So yung pag-deliver, kung saan yan, kung from ibang bansa, from other country, pinuslit papunta dito sa atin, okay, that is controlled delivery, or di kaya from dito, from Manila to Cebu or Cebu to Mindanao, okay? So there is a transporting of this illegal controlled drugs or precursor. Okay, ito yung mga chemicals, controlled precursors and essential chemicals. There are mga chemicals, drugs which are prohibited, indicated under drug law natin. Ito, naka-indicate yan. Those listed in Table 1 and 2 of the 98 UN Convention against illicit traffic in narcotic drugs are considered per se as illegal. Okay? Kasi hindi lahat drugs is allowed. Yung mga indicated under the tables in 1 and 2 of the 98 UN Conventions, nandun ngayon yan sa ating Republic Act 9165, that is considered controlled precursors and essential chemicals. Okay? O yan, yung mga mahilig ngayon sa plantita, okay? O, pero yung magtatanim kayo, wag naman ito. Okay? Any agricultural planting, growing, raising, of permitting planting of the dangerous drugs such as marijuana, okay, bawal pa rin yan. Sir, bawal ba yung plantita? Hindi naman. Pero kung magtatanim ka ng marijuana, mag-aalaga ka sa bakura mo, ilalagay mo sa cute na paso, that is already cultivation. Dangerous drugs, okay, as I've said earlier, that is already included in the release table under 9165. Nandiyan na sila methamphetamine hydrochloride, si shabu, si ecstasy, okay, si cocaine, heroin, dangerous drugs. Delivery, okay, yung mga pagpasa-pasa, okay, that also covered. Any act of knowingly passing a dangerous drug to another, okay, the knowledge and the passing with or without consideration, that is delivery. Take note, the elements, there is a knowledge of what? Passing of dangerous drugs, whether or without, with or without consideration. That is delivery. Sir, binigay sa akin yung shabu. Walang pera. Binigay, that is delivery already. With or without consideration. Next, the then, die for sort. Ito naman yung mga taguan, mga safe places kung saan ginagawa yung mga essential chemicals o controlled precursors, yung paggawaan ng droga. Okay? Kung makikita doon, may ginagawa doon, that ang tawag din sa bahay na yon, den or dive resort. Okay? May mga apartment yan, paupahan, akala mo, tapos doon pala, paggawaan na pala yon. Or yung mga warehouse, akala mo, may mga manufacturer, yung para sa likod noon, front lang nila yung mga products na yon. Then sa loob pala niya, that is already a gawa na pala yun ng mga droga, then that's called a den, dive, or resort. Dispense, okay? Yung act of giving, selling, distributing medicine or any dangerous drug with or without use of prescription. Drug syndicate, there are some law that sinasabi at least 3 or more, but under the Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act, required lang at least 2 or more persons forming, joining together with the intention committing any offense prescribed. Okay? 2 or more lang yan, yung drug syndicate. Dalawa lang kayo? Yes, po pwede. Drug syndicate na kayo. What will be effect later on? I will be disclosed later on. Employee or drug den, debit or sort. Any person who pays, raises or supplies money for underwrites any illegal activities prescribed under this act. So, empleyado ka nung drug den, dive resort na yon, you are punishable. You are considered employee. Provided, ang requirement niyan para maging employee ka ay alam mo. Okay? There must be a knowledge na ang empleyado mo, ang employer mo, at meron palang ganong activities, business activities, illegal drugs, that's the time you will be also liable as an employee of drug den, dive, or resort. Next, financier, the caretaker, helper, or watchman, lookout, and other person working in the den. This time, ang tawag sa kanya, caretaker lang ha, yung financier na yan, caretaker lang yan, helper lang yan. Okay? Okay, employed by the maintainer, owner, or other operator where any dangerous drug act, dangerous drug and control precursor. Illegal trafficking, the cultivation, culture, delivery, administration, dispensation. Ito yung mga pagdadala, okay, pagtatanim. Ang tawag, the whole itself, the cultivation, the culture, the delivery, the administration, dispensation, manufacture, or sale. Trading, ang tawag din sa mga yan, illegal trafficking. Pinagsama-sama yung mga yon. Distribution, importation, exportation, and possession. Illegal trafficking, ang term natin doon. Instrument, okay? Anything that is used, intended to be used in any manner, commission of illegal drug or trafficking related to offense. Laboratory equipment, yung mga aparatus, paraphernalia, ginagamit sa paggawa ng mga controlled precursors at essential chemicals para maging shabu. Okay? Laboratory equipment. Okay? We have here si Mary Jane. Okay, alam ng mga estudyante natin yan. Lalo na si criminologist, si Mary Jane or the Indian hemp. Okay, kung tawagin. Okay, methamphetamine, hydrochloride, ibig sabihin si methylene methamphet, MDMA is commonly known as the ecstasy. What else? Ito na yung favorite. Yung very known and popular, methamphetamine hydrochloride, shabu, or known as ice or meth. Okay? Drug having such chemical composition, including any of its isomers or derivatives in any form. Planting of evidence. Okay? Ito, hindi naman to plantito, plantita, but with respect to evidence, it's planting of evidence, the willful act of any person of maliciously or surreptitiously inserting, placing, adding, or attaching directly or indirectly through any overt or covert act. Sa madaling salita, the layman terms, nagtanim ng ebidensya, tinaniman ng ebidensya. Okay? That's also covered under another offense in the Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002. This time, any persons who knowingly or willfully consent to unlawful acts, uses or her influence, power, position in shielding, harboring, screening, or facilitating the escape of any person he or she knows or has reasonable ground to believe or suspect is known as the protector or cuddler. Okay? Yung mga taong may impluensya, pinakakapitakas yung mga persons who are liable under this law, they are the protector and cuddler and punishable also under the law. Of course, the pusher, any person who sells, trades, administer, okay? Nagbenta, okay? Laman ng balita yan, the pushers. And we have also the act of selling drugs. So, trading, transaction na nangyari. Okay, yung paggamit, okay, na common sense na yan. Now, let's proceed with unlawful acts. Paano ba nagiging punishable acts itong si Dangerous Drug Act of 2002? One, importation of dangerous drugs and controlled precursors and essential chemicals. Okay? So, by the name itself, import of bringing dangerous drugs. Okay? There is a transportation from our country, from other country to our country, importation, nag-aangkat, okay, ng mga illegal drugs, ng mga dangerous drugs, control precursor. That is section 4, punishable also. Next, this is the one of the popular sections under the law. Section 5, sale, trading, administration, dispensation, delivery, distribution, and transportation of dangerous drugs, controlled precursors, and essential chemicals. Take note that there is a sale insofar as the dangerous drugs, controlled precursors, okay? Bentahan to. There is a contract, perpetuation of contract, sale. Okay? There is a meeting of the minds, sale. What about trade? Trade, there is no need to meeting of the mind, mere transaction. Trade lang, binigay mo lang. Administer, binigay mo lang. Dispense, tinapon mo lang o giving it away. Deliver, there's no need of meeting of the minds. So there is no contract to be conceived under such acts, trade, administer, dispense, deliver. Okay? So that is section 5. Qualifying circumstances under section 5. Ano ibig sabihin nito? So the more nahulihan ka na ng selling ng drugs, trade, administer, delivery, the more you will increase the penalty. Kung yung pag-selling na yon, pag-trade na yon, administer na yon, delivery na yon, dispense na yon, ay pasok sa school within 100 meters from the school nung nangyari yung bentahan na yon. What more? Gumamit ka ng bata o kaya yung mga abnormal, yung mentally incapacitated para makabenta ka ng droga. O di kaya ang biktima mo ay isang minor or isang mentally incapacitated. Okay? And tapos nagkaroon pa ng death, yung biktima namatay dahil doon sa ginawa mong transaction na yung pagbebenta. And yung offender natin ay nag-act as a financier, protector, or cuddler. So these are qualifying circumstances. Ibig sabihin, kung iyan ay reclusion temporal, 12 years and 1 day to 20 years, so the maximum penalty will be imposed, the 20 years, because of this the presence of any of these qualifying circumstances. So it will aggravate the penalty. Next, ito na nga, sinasabi natin, the elements. Anong elements ng selling? The identity of the buyer and the seller and the object of considerations. And the delivery of the things sold in payment thereof. So, sa mga transaction ng mga police, yung bypass operation, yung selling na yan, importante lang ma-establish sa prosecution. Yung identity ng buyer at ng seller. Sino bumili? Sino nagbenta? Ano yung object? Yung shabu? Ano yung pera? Ano yung pinambili? Yung bypass money na yan. Yan yung ginamit na consideration. All of these things, plus the act of delivery of the things sold. Then, here we have the selling of drugs. So there is a meeting of the mind, there is a perfected contract of selling and buying, the buyer and the seller, and the object, which is the shabu. And the amount involved, any money involved, yun yung bypass money, consideration yon. Okay? That is the selling. Jurisprudence says, okay, the elements of illegal sellings are the accused sold and delivered the prohibited drugs, binenta ng akusado at dineliver yung prohibited drugs. Second, alam niya na ang binibentang yon at ang dineliver niya was a dangerous drug. So that is the case of People versus Pendaton. Next, So ito ngayon, testimony, paano ipoprove natin yon? Okay, testimony siyempre ng pusher buyer. Minsan, police din yan. Police investigator, forensic chemist, magpapatunay na ang ang binenta ay isang drugs. Okay? Arresting officers, the act of delivering. So magte-testify yan si arresting officer. So those are the testimonial evidence to be used in the prosecution against the selling of drugs. Okay, those are the these are the simple decisions regarding selling. The commission of the offense of illegal sale and dangerous drugs requires merely consummation of the selling of transaction, which happens the moment the buyer receives the drug from the seller. Kaya nga sa bypass, ang importante lang yan, ma-establish lang ng prosecution na meron nangyaring bentahan. Pag na-establish yun ng prosecution, wala na, tapos na ang laban. Okay, kulong na yan. Kaya nga meron, the bypass operation is a form of entrapment which has been accepted to be a valid means of arresting the violators. Okay? Legal yan, yung mga bypass operation na yan. The bypass operation illegal itself, okay? It is legal itself, the form of entrapment. Now, let's proceed. Another jurisprudence, neither law nor jurisprudence requires the presentation of any money used in a bypass operation. Of any of the money used in a bypass operation, hindi na kailangan i-present daw yung bypass, yung money used sa pagbili. Importante ma-establish yung buying, selling, identity ng seller at ng object ng contract, because there is a contract na nangyari. Okay? Section 6, maintenance of den, dive, or sort. O, paano naman ito napapenalize? Maintaining a den, dive, or sort is any dangerous drugs used or sold in any form, and control precursor is used or sold in any form. So itong mga premises na to, resort na to, ay ginagamit yan sa paggawaan. Ang importante nito ay merong knowledge na talagang ito ay gawaan ng shabuyan. Okay? Diyan yan iniimbak, diyan ginagawa, diyan nagkakaroon din ng transaction pag nabuo na. Ito naman yung another qualifying circumstances. Okay? Where the minor was allowed to use the drugs in such place, may minor involved doon sa paggawaan, sa pag-maintain, may nakasama pang minor. Okay? Qualified yan, magiging qualified yan, tatas ang penalty dyan. Dangerous drugs to be proximate cause of the death of such person using the same. O, pag mayroong namatay doon sa loob ng sa den, dive, resort na yon, and yung pag-maintain na yon, that is the proximate cause. If that is the proximate cause, yung pag-maintain ng den, dive, resort na yon, qualified circumstances na yan. Owned by that person confiscated is cheated in favor of the government. Anong mangyayari kapag napatunayan na mayroong maintenance of den, dive, resort? Yung property na yan, mako-confiscate yan, may estate yan in favor of the government. Okay? Mawawala yan. Makukunin yan ng gobyerno. Next. Tuloy natin ha, kahit alas 12 na. Now question, are the employees and visitors of the drug den liable? Yes. Bakit? An employee of a den, dive, resort who is aware of the nature of the place as such. What else? Any person who, not being included in the provision of the next preceding paragraph, is aware of the nature of the places as such. So, ibig sabihin, kung ikaw empleyado sa den, dive, resort na yan, or kaya bumisita lang doon sa drug den na yon, sa premises na yon, liable ka? Not automatic. Okay? You will be only liable kapag meron kang awareness, pag meron kang knowledge that the nature of such place is a den, drive, and resort. Okay? For the drugs, for the using it to be drugs premises. Awareness and knowledge is a part of the element. It could be also as a defense kasi wala kang, pwede na maging ebidensya rin yan at depensa mo kung wala kang knowledge. Bumisita ka lang doon, di mo alam na yun pala ay isang den, drive, or resort, paggawa ng shabu, na imbitahan ka lang. So you will make a defense that you have not knowledge. So if that's your defense, that will be your burden of proving. Ikaw mapapatunayan mo na wala kang alam nga doon. Okay? Kasi kapag napatunayan mo yan, and that's the part of the element, and then you will also be held liable under such sections. Next, manufacture and dangerous drugs, control precursor. Alam na naman natin yan, yung paggawaan. The dangerous drug itself, mali na nga lalo pa yung paggagawa, yung pagmamanufacture. Okay? Section 8 yan. So, nag-aggravate, tumataas ang penalty, yung paggawaan na yan, pag ginawa mo yan sa harapan ng minors, o kaya within 100 meters ng residential, business, church, or school premises. Okay? Nag-aggravate, tumataas ang penalty, yung paggawaan na yan, nilagay mo sa residential, o kaya malapit sa school, within 100 meters. Yan ang ating parameter. Next, kasama sa manufacture yung patagong laboratory, okay? Tapos meron pang booby trap yan, nilagyan mo ng booby trap, ay qualified circumstances yan. O kaya yung laboratory niyon, pinapaharap mo ang front pala niya ng business niya, akala mo McDo or Jollibee o anumang mga legitimate businesses, pero sa likod niya may warehouse, pagawaan din pala yan ng shabu. Kaya pala hindi nauubusan ka ng customer dyan. Day and night ang customer mo. Same pala, meron ka pala dyang hidden agenda. So that is also qualifying circumstances of the manufacturing. Employment of practitioner, chemical engineer, public official, important. Sa paggawaan niyo, manufacture, may mga expert ka pa mga kasama. Chemical engineer, okay? May mga public official pa or foreigner involved. So that makes the offense qualified. Under Section 9, illegal chemical diversion, sabi ko kanina, dinadivert yung labeling ng products. Siyempre, pag obvious yan, ilalagay mo sa bote yan, ililabel mo, dangerous, shabu, ay pagbabawal mo talaga yan. So ang gagawin ng mga criminal, para hindi mauli, talagang diversion. Okay? Ibahin yung label. Okay? Illegal chemical diversions and control precursors and essential chemicals. Huwag lang magpahuli kasi dinadivert mo para maging mukhang hindi shabu yan. Pero pag nahuli, Section 9. Section 10, manufacture or delivery of equipment. This time, equipment aming ginagawa at saka yung mga apparatus. Okay? That is covered under Section 10. Mga parapernalyas para gagamitin sa paggawa ng shabu. Another popular provision, one of which is Section 11, kasama ng Section 5, possession of dangerous drugs. Okay? Possession and dangerous drugs, 10 grams or more, morphine, heroin, cocaine, okay? 50 grams pag methamphetamine hydrochloride, 500 grams of marijuana, okay? 10 grams of more other dangerous drugs, ecstasy, possession. Now, when we say possession, under Section 12, not only the actual possession, but also included the constructive possession. Anong pagkakaiba ng actual possession? Mismo nahuli sa iyo, hawak-hawak mo, actual possession. But you will be also penalized kahit hindi mo yan hawak. Basta meron kang custody or control over the subject matter, ang tawag natin dyan is constructive possession. Hence, you will be also penalized for that possession in the nature of constructive possession. Okay? The elements, the accused in possession of the object identified, that possession is not authorized, and the accused freely and consciously possessed of the said drugs. Okay? So yung elements ng possession. But take note, the two kinds of possession, either constructive or actual possession. So yung nasabi natin kanina, the actual possession, constructive possession. Okay, under Section 13, possession of dangerous drugs during parties, social gatherings, meetings, and possession of any dangerous drugs. Okay? Pag may mga salo-salo kayo dyan, nagkaroon ng raid, nagkaroon ng surveillance, nagkaroon ng raid, isa ka sa merong possessions, pati ka merong dyang sa bulsa mo, o ano man, na shabu, kasama ka dyan, then you will be liable under Section 13, not 11, but 13. Possession of dangerous drugs during parties, social gatherings, meetings, and possession of any dangerous drugs. 14, possession equipments and instrument apparatus. Okay? Pinagbabawal din kasi yan. Kasi siyempre, yung paggawa nga, manufacture pati yung pag-equipment, possession equipment, bawal din yan. But take note, the possession, either actual or constructive possession. Ang possession. That is Section 14. Section 15, use of dangerous drugs. Okay? A person apprehended or arrested found to be positive. Okay, may screening test yan. Pag may screening, i-confirm yan. Pag na-confirm, and that is the time, you are confirmed to be a positive user of dangerous drugs and then held liable under Section 15. Of course, yung plantito-plantita natin, cultivation of dangerous na marijuana, bawal yan. Now, Republic Act as amended, Republic Act 9165, there are several provisions that has already been amended, and one of which is Republic Act 106040. Ano sinasabi nito? Amending Section 21. The custody, disposition of confiscated, seized, and surrendered dangerous drugs, plant source and dangerous drugs, controlled precursors, and essential chemicals. So use kasi sa section, the old previous law, 9165, the previous Section 21 of 9165, physical inventory. Okay, may physical inventory yan. Tapos, kukunin yan. Pag kasaan lang dyan, mag-inventory kagad dyan, basta kung saan niya nahuli, yung drugs na yan. And then, before, dapat committed yan, yung inventory na mangyayari na yan, tsaka pag-confiscate ng mga drugs na nahuli, in the presence of marami yun, elected public officials, media, DOJ representative, tapos yung mga kamag-anak pa, tapos may lawyer pa. Ganyan dati yon, yung Section 21. But nowadays, because maraming effort si police officer na di-dismiss because of Section 21, masyadong stringent yung law, niluwagan yung Section 21. Under Republic Act 1060, 1040, in-amend yung Section 21. At sinasabi, what is required only during the bypass operation, during the inventory of the drugs, ang kailangan na lang is elected public official and media or DOJ representative. So, kung mayroong public official doon, let's say barangay lang, tapos media, pwede na yan. Pasok na yan sa Section 25. Inventory could be done. Or media, DOJ, pag media, DOJ, mali yun. Dapat kasama ang public official. Dapat either elected public official, media, or the elected public official, DOJ. Pero kung media and DOJ, no, it would not suffice the requirement of the Section 25, Section 21 under Republic Act 10640. Okay? What else? So that is the yung leniency ng Section 21 and the efforts of the police officers. Masyadong masipag sila police officer, medyo maraming na kaso na di-dismiss because of Section 21, niluwagan siya by virtue of Republic Act 1060, 10640. Now, what is chain of custody? This is the principle under the under 9165 or in the Section 21 of Republic Act 9165, wherein the duly recorded authorized movements of the custody of the seized drugs or controlled precursor and essential chemicals or plants, source of dangerous drug or laboratory equipment, each stage from time of seizure and confiscation to receipt in the forensic laboratory to safekeeping the presentation in court and destruction. So ang sinasabi lang dito sa chain of custody, okay, from the time nakuha yung drugs, na confiscated, na seize yung drugs, okay, must be the same person. It must be duly recorded kung sino yung kumuha from the time of crime scene up to the crime of up to the processing of the drugs to the crime laboratory. Must be also recorded that the same drugs that has collected from the crime scene brought to the crime lab must be the same drugs must be brought to the court for the prosecution. Okay? Kaya nga chain yan, custody, tuloy-tuloy. Otherwise, the violation of this chain of custody, in effect, it will be inadmissible evidence that will result to the dismissal of the case or the acquittal of the suspect or the accused because of violation of chain of custody. Kasi inadmissible evidence na yon. Kasi meron ng lapses dun sa evidence, contaminated na evidence. So what we are trying to prove in Section 21 is the chain of custody that the evidence confiscated from the crime scene must be duly recorded and must be the same evidence be brought to the crime laboratory for processing and examination, and must be also the same drugs confiscated and must be duly recorded, must be the same drugs to be brought to the court as to be used as evidence. Yun ang ating principle of the chain of custody. Next, of course, the conspiracy. Meron tayong conspiracy under RAN 165. Okay, this is importation of dangerous drugs. Yung meron conspiracy of connivance to. Okay, madali lang naman yan. Meron basta provided yung attempt na yan ay merong directly overt acts. Okay, alam ng ating mga criminologists yan. Okay, conspiracy may connivance, okay, sa pagbenta, sa pagmanufacture, sa possessions, okay, ng ating mga dangerous drugs and marijuana. Conspiracy. Does the PNP still authorize to conduct anti-illegal operation? Di ba, kailan may mga damay-damay, mayroong mga armed encounter between the PDEA and the PNP. Kasi nga, si PDEA nga daw ang lead agency. Does the PNP still authorize to conduct anti-illegal operation? Yes. Under Section 86 of the 9165, it is explicitly only saying that the PDEA shall be the lead agency. Lead agency siya in the investigation and the prosecution of drug-related cases. Therefore, other law enforcement bodies still possess the authority to perform similar function as the PDEA as long as it is illegal drugs cases will eventually be transferred to the latter. So, authorized pa rin si PNP and another law enforcement body. It so happened, meron lang coordination, okay? Si PDEA lang ang lead agency, but does not prohibit the PNP to conduct anti-illegal operation. Ang kailangan lang is coordination between one another. Kaya nga tuloy, nagkakaroon sila encounter dun sa baba, trabaho sila ng trabaho, hindi pala nila, the same subject, o kaya mismo, akala sila yung kalaban nila. So, what matters, the problem is the coordination. Okay? Hindi sila nagkakaamuyan sa doon sa baba. Next, is plea bargaining allowed? Is plea bargaining allowed? The previous law does not allow it. Plea bargaining under the old law, 9165, it is not allowed. But it is not allowed in the case of Istona Jr. versus Lubregor, 2017 case. So very, very new, bago to. Okay? Kaya nga tayo may mga suspect tayo, mga akusado tayo, nakakalaya because of plea bargaining. Because of this case, no, there are some accused are allowed to be freed because of plea bargaining. In some instances, what are the offenses that covered the plea bargaining? In those cases where the Shibu confiscated is lesser than 5 grams, okay, plea bargaining is allowed. What else? In case the marijuana is confiscated, if the grams is less than 300 grams, plea bargaining is allowed. Okay? Nowadays, pag may nagtanong, is plea bargaining allowed? Yes. Before kasi hindi eh. But because of the existence of the Estepona Jr. and Lubregor case, plea bargaining now allowed for that instances alone. Okay? Sa mga lesser than 5 grams shabu confiscated, baka lesser than 300 grams of marijuana confiscated. Next, is non-coordination of PNP with PDEA prior to bypass is invalid operation? The answer is no. As you have said already kanina, in the first place, coordination with the is not indispensable requirement before police authorities may carry out the bypass operation. While it's true, Section 86 and 165 requires National Bureau, NBI, PNP, and Bureau of Customs to maintain close coordination with the PDEA in all drug-related matters. The provision does not, by so saying, makes PDEA participation a condition sine qua non for every bypass operation. So hindi ibig sabihin daw noon, lahat laging merong prior coordination sa PDEA bago sila mag-ooperate. Otherwise, kung meron na silang nahinog na trabaho, tapos hindi sila nakakuha ng prior coordinations kay PDEA, hindi natin for unknown reason, bakit di nila binibigay, sayang yung effort ng surveillance, sayang yung pera pag-i-effort ng surveillance. So, the Supreme Court says, no, prior coordination is not required, is in that indispensable requirement for the police authorities to carry out a bypass operation. Okay? Take note of that, mga criminologists. Liability of the government officials, employee, and the law enforcers. Liability and responsibility of layers in testifying the prosecution witnesses. Pag naging pulis kayo, may liability pa rin tayo. After due notice, field refuses intentionally or negligently to appear as a witness for the prosecution in any proceedings involving violation of this act without any valid reason. May mga police officers tayo ngayon na di-dismiss administratively, nadidismiss sa serbisyo because of failure to attend the court hearing. Pag meron silang mga hawak na kaso as a witness of drug witness case, tapos hindi sila nakaka-attend, tapos na-dismiss yung kaso because of failure to attend, Section 91 applies, liability or responsibility, testifying as a prosecution ways. Meron pa silang criminal case, at the same time, meron silang administrative case. Malaliable na sila under Section 91, plus meron pa silang dismissal case administratively. So take note of that. Kung mga soon police officers of the CELTEC, okay, pag meron kayong hawak as a witness of drug cases, don't fail to not to attend. It might cause a dismissal from the service. Very stricto ang ating organization dyan. The member of the law enforcement agency or another government employee mentioned in the preceding paragraph shall not be transferred, reassigned during dependency of the case in court except for the compelling reason. O pinagbabawal talaga yung reassignment. May mga hawak kayo. Halimbawa ako, may hawak akong drug case sa Pampanga. Hindi ko agad ako basa-basa marireassign sa other probinsya or sa other region kung may harong mga hawak dito as a witness sa mga drug cases. Malibang na lamang talagang importante for compelling reason. But in the absence of that compelling reason, you will not be reassigned. You can invoke this law. Yan ang nagsabi ng batas, kaya hindi ka pa pwedeng i-transfer basta-basta. Again, because of the importance of the case, baka kasi hindi mo ma-attinan yan. Sa layo na pupuntahan mo ng reassignment mo, hindi ka makaka-attend ng hearing mo din sa Pampanga, na reassign ka sa Aurora, madidismiss yung kaso, baka madismiss ka pa rin sa serbisyo. Kaya hindi basta-basta yung reassignment na nangyayari. Except for compelling reason. Okay? Liability of government officials who delays the prosecution of cases. Trabaho naman ito ng prosecutor. Okay? Dinidelay nila yung mga tawag natin dito is bungling of cases. Marami silang hawak ng cases, drug cases, yung mga prosecutor, dinidelay nila sa pag-prosecute ng kaso. That might result to the violation of the right of the accused. So, liable din dyan si prosecutor. Okay? Bungling of cases ang tawag dyan. Okay? At the end of the presentation, unless there are other questions, we can proceed. Ma'am and sir?
Okay po. Thank you very much po, sir. So everyone, it is now time for your questions to be entertained. If you have any questions, clarification, mag-chat lang kayo.
Especially to the criminology students, I challenge questions from them.
Okay,
I encourage, not challenge.
Okay. One question po from Francis. Wait. Wait lang po. Ano yun?
Why cannabis is dangerous drugs but can cure mental illness and other medical purposes? Asked by Francis M. Malungkot. Malungkot. Oh, don't be malungkot ha. Don't be sad. Bakit naging dangerous ang si cannabis? That is the common issue. Okay? Medical expert says, may mga effect yan. Okay? Titingnan yung mga effects, lalo naman, ano ba si dangerous drugs, di ba? Ang effect ni dangerous drugs, pag nagnasobrahan yan, tinitira niyan ang ang tinitira niyan ang mind. Okay? Sinisira ang isip nyo. Actually, the state is very conscious about us. So it is declaring as a danger, although it has an effect, it can cure some illnesses, but generally, the effect of this cannabis, okay, that might cause some yung ating prejudicial sa ating mental condition. Sinisira ang isipin namin yan. Kaya kita nyo, di ba? May mga addict na kung saan akala nila nang rape sila, akala nila yung 82 years old. Wow, sexy! Wow, sexy! Yung pala, 82 years old. Sa tingin nila, kasi mental distorted na sila. So ang mind nila, ganyan, addict sila, mangre-rape sila. So yung kanilang trend, ang kanilang urge to have sexual, malasadong malakas to the extent wala na mentally, factually distorted na kanilang mind. So that is the reason why it is being prohibited by our state, by our law. Okay? Did I answer Sir Francis Malungkot? I hope you don't be sad to my answer. Next question, sir, ma'am.
Okay po. Thank you very much, sir. Another question po from Carla Dongka. Hello po. Why do some people become addicted with drugs while others don't? How can I help someone if they are on drugs?
Okay. I'm answering as I rito. In the perspective of the psychologist, okay? Bakit pagiging addicted yung drugs? In the perspective, tignan nyo, di ba? Yung drugs kasi parang parang tape. Pag na-record yan, pumasok sa katawan niyo yan. Okay? Pag pumasok sa katawan, hahanap-hanapin. Okay? Kaya nga pag nasobrahan yan, hahanap-hanapin, parang naka-record din sa katawan niyo yan. Then, to the extent na at all cost, dahil hinahanap na ng katawan mo yan, pati pamilya mo maapektuhan. Yung relationship mo sa pamilya mo, sa kaibigan mo, nanakawan mong pamilya mo, lulukuhin mong mga kaibigan mo, pagkapatid mo, nanay mo, para lang makatik ng drugs, bibili ka, magnanakaw ka, parang matake drugs. So, that is in the psychologist's perspective, and that is not really nangyayari talaga. And that is actually happened because of the addiction in our body. Next question, ma'am.
Okay po. Thank you, sir. From Ivan Mark Isip, criminology student, makakasuhan po ba ang isang tao kung nag-positive po siya sa drugs at hindi niya po alam na nag-take siya ng drugs? Like po na nalasing sa isang party tapos napainom na pala siya ng drugs.
Well, the answer is yes. Kasi meron tayo sa may positive drugs. Makasuhan siya, pero hindi ka agad siya maikukulong. Kasi the law says, pag positive ka, screen test confirm positive. Ang makakasuhan ka, but you will not be imprisoned. The law says, first offense, you will be imprisoned. You will be rehabilitated for 6 months. The law says, hindi naman sinabing exempted ka dahil nahihilo ka doon, hindi mo alam. The law says, na-confirm ka eh. The defense of awareness and knowledge with the use is not applicable doon sa use. Kasi pinainom ka, ulitin ko ang tanong like po nalasing sa isang party tapos napainom po pala siya ng drugs. Well, on the side of the prosecution, you will be charged for the use of drugs because of the evidence itself, confirmatory result. But your defense, your defense na hindi mo alam, you can assert that in court. But on the part of prosecution, they will prove it na nag-positive ka because of the confirmatory result. Again, thank you.
Thank you po, sir. A message po from Sir Hemerson, one of the faculty of Celtec College. Thank you po, sir, for the essential knowledge you shared to us. God bless you po. And it will be a great help to us. And question po from Maria Jamie Juniler. Sir, what is your opinion po sa nangyari sa PIDEA at police sa Quezon City?
Well, there are two incidents happened. Hindi ko alam alin tinutukoy mo doon. In the first one and the second, both they are happened in Quezon City. If you are referring to the previous one, yung una, well, talagang hindi sila nagkaamuyan doon. The second, walang may court, sabi kasi sa evidence, sabi sa balita, well, hindi ko pa nakita yung case, sabi sa balita, meron man din coordination si PNP sa PIDEA. Meron naman yung coordination sa kabila. Di ko alam saan sila nagkaroon ng problema. Pero sinasabi ng PIDEA, dabi nila, na-coordinate naman nila din yung lakad nila. Pero pagdating sa ground, nako, hindi sila nagkaamuyan. Muntik na ulit na mangyari yan, itong the second one. Buti na lang, yung isang officer doon, kilala nila. Yung tao na yun, nakita siguro nila sa TV yun. Siguro, bukod sa coordination, siguro, kasi both of them alleging they are coordinated to one another. Pero hindi nila alam yung mga tao. Kaya nga merong move merong policy, merong proposal si Chief PNP. Minsan from time to time, yung mga agent na mga nasa baba sa mga istasyon at saka yung mga agent dito sa PIDEA, magkakakilanlan, magsama-sama minsan at pagkakilala. Kasi kung hindi na naman may coordinated pagdating doon, hindi nila alam. Sila pala yung subject, sila yung trabaho. So, hindi nila kilala sa isa't isa. Buti nila yung the second one, nakilala yung isang major na yun the major na yung isang police officer sa Quezon City, nakilala. So, police pala yung transaction nila. So, aside siguro ng coordination, hindi rin kasi nag-effect yung coordination, siguro pagdating sa ground, kilalanin siguro yung mga tao para hindi ko rin magkaroon ng problema.
Okay po, sir. Thank you very much for that clarification. Another question po from Edmar Matito Castro. Is it possible po ba na mag-positive sa drug test kahit alam mo naman po sa sarili mo na hindi ka gumamit ng drugs?
Imposible yun. Is it possible that the positive drug test, kahit alam mo sa sarili mo hindi ka na positive na drugs? Well, objectively, yes, it's possible. Pag yan ay nag-screen test at nag-confirm ka sa confirmatory test, then na-confirm ka na positive, sasabihin sa'yo doon, positive ka, pwede yan, possible yan. Kasi ang mangyayari ngayon, kasi kung nasubukan nyo sana, kung nasubukan nyo kayo nagda-drug test, di ba, may pinisusulat kayo doon pinadeclare doon kung may mga iniinom ka mga gamot. Kung may mga iniinom ka mga gamot, tapos alam mo, may mga mini-maintain ka, i-declare mo kung ano yung mga yon. That might be the cause. Hindi ka nga nagtatik ng mga shabu, hindi ka nagtatik ng mga cocaine, pero nag-positive ka. But wala ka naman dineclare doon sa mga inisinusulat. So, there must be declaration kung may iniinom ko mga gamot, kung nagmiminti ka mga drugs para sa sakit mo. So, important yun para kung sakali mo ma-confirm ka, ay positive pala ako because of that maintenance of drugs, because of your declaration, para hindi ka you will be charged. Kasi magmamatch naman yan doon sa tinitake mong drugs at sa iniinom mong gamot na para sa maintenance mo at kung mag-confirm yan. Kaya ka nag-confirm kasi may maintenance ng drugs. But you are not positive because of the illegal drugs. Okay? Kaya dapat importante, meron kaming case dito administrative case, meron siyang mini-maintain na drugs, pero hindi niya man dineclare. Kaya tuloy, nung nag-confirm sa positive, kinasuhan ngayon siya. Ngayon, nag-aaruga siya, naghahabol siya na magsabi, hindi ko na-declare. Well, that's your fault. Dapat i-declare mo yon para you will not be charged. Thank you, ma'am. Next
Thank you,
question.
sir, for that knowledge. Another question po from BS Cream 1A de la Cruz. Sir, possible po ba na ma-stop sa pagda-drugs even without rehabilitation?
Again, ma'am, pardon.
Possible po
Bulba.
ba na ma-stop sa pagda-drugs even without rehabilitation?
Nako. Sino ba yung nagtanong? Ikaw ba yon? Is that a experiential question? Joke lang ha. Mahirap kung ikaw lang sarili mo. Kaya nga meron tayong mga institution na dapat ihirap. Kasi yung sarili mo lang. Kasi doon sa rehabilitation, may mga programa kayo doon, may mga activities kayo doon, makakalimutan mo yon. May mga programa kayo, may mga programa. Pero kung sarili mong effort lang, mahirap. Pwede siguro kung talagang very determined ka. That is subjective type. Ikaw na sagot ng sarili mo dyan. Sir, sino ba yun? Sir De La Cruz?
Thank you very much po, sir. Another question po from Jashriel. Sir, what if po may nakasalamuha ka na nagda-drugs tapos yung usok po ay nalanghap mo? Possible po ba na mag-positive ka sa drugs?
Hindi naman. Hindi naman ganun yon. Kasi yung drugs ini-intake yan eh. Ini-intake yun. Wala pa kami cases na katabi mo sa nakasalingot ka, ikaw hindi ka nakaamoy, hindi mo nasingot yon, tapos nag-positive ka na. Wala pa naman. So, it's more on taking an injection. Okay? Yung very small lang yung inhale na, tapos hindi ka naman regular nag-inhale nun, very isolate yun. Hindi naman, very seldom yon.
Thank you, sir. Another question po. Sir, ask ko lang po, my brother is a new police officer. May responsibility po ba siya sa mga drug users sa barangay namin?
Responsibility sa drug user. Once a police officer is always a police officer. Okay? Bago siyang police officer, drug user. Kung si drug user
Sino to, ma'am?
Kung totoo niyang nakita in his presence, nagte-take sila ng drugs, well, that is warrantless arrest. That is warrantless arrest. But hindi niya pa pwedeng huliin yung mag-isa. Siguro he could ask help from his colleagues sa station nila to arrest by warrantless arrest na merong actual dito na nagte-take ng drugs. Pero drug user alone, hindi mo naman nakikita, ay hindi mo pwedeng hulihin yun. Hindi yan na warrantless arrest. Okay? So, be cautious, mag-ingat sa kuya mo na bagong police officer. Don't be hero. May mga guidelines tayo, may mga procedures tayo, at don't sacrifice yourself.
Thank you very much po, sir. Question po from our student. Sir, lahat po ba ng nag-take ng drugs, regardless kung ilan po siyang beses nakapag-take, kailangan madala sa rehab center?
Wala man sinabi basta at least you have been found, at least one time. The first offense is 6-month rehabilitations. Thereafter, kung nagawa mo na yan ulit, positive ka ulit doon, nagamit ka, this time, you will not be rehabilitated. After your rehabilitation, you will be imprisoned. Next question, ma'am.
Thank you po, sir. A message po from our student. Magandang araw po sa inyo, sir. Thank you po sa topic na napaka-informative. With that, nalinawan po kami as a student na very vulnerable sa mga issue regarding sa mga importanteng topic na na-discuss nyo po. Napakaganda po ng sequence and delivery po ng session at ang dami po naming natutunan. Salamat po at laging mag-ingat. God bless.
Thank you rin.
Last 5 questions na lang po.
Yes.
From Melzon Montes, sir, meron pong drugs na ini-inject po sa isang tao at meron din pong iniinom. Sa dalawang case po, sino po ang makukulong at sino po ang may laban? Ask ko lang po.
Well, pareho silang talo. Pareho silang talo. The law says that you have been found to be user several times. After several times, you will be in prison. Either inhalation yan or either injection, you will be penalized under the law. Talo sila. Both of them are loser.
Okay, sir. Thank you po. Next question po. Paano po, sir, kung may nakita kang baril sa checkpoint plan view, chinek yung sasakyan tapos accidentally may nakita po na shabu? Kailangan po pa po ba ng mga PIDEA, barangay official, or whatever required to Republic Act of Dangerous Drugs or whatsoever?
I hope so na ang nagtatanong nito is a criminology student ha. Kung criminology student yan, siguro masasagot niya. Sasabihin niya siguro ng criminology, nag-aaral ako dyan kasi graduate ako, estudyante ako ng CELTIC eh. Sabi ng professor namin, instructor namin, that is the doctrine of, anong doctrine yun? Walang makakasagot. Plain view, di ba? Oo, yun. Sa checkpoint kasi, ano yung plain view? That is one of the circumstances of warrantless search. Di ba? So, in that case, pag check nyo, nakita nyo, pag checkpoint nyo, police officer kayo, soon to be police officer, may nakita kayong, plain view na rin yung baril. Plain view na rin yung marijuana. In that case, both of them, you will charge under comprehensive firearm law natin and comprehensive drug act law. And then, paano yun? Thereafter, kung sa drug law na yan, i-record natin ngayon, dahil warrantless search yan, hindi naman yan bypass operation, pwede na yan, yung sinasabi natin na kinakailangan ng ng media, elected public officer, sa bypass operation natin. Purely drug operation, bypass operation. This time, nangyari to sa law enforcement operation through checkpoint. What needed to be an evidence, yan, affidavit ng officer na nakuha sa plain view, yung baril, yung droga, and then the witnesses to the arresting officer, that's all. Papwede na yan. Yung requirement na to media and other media and public officer, that is only required in a bypass operation. Next question. Thank you, ma'am. Hope I answered you.
Thank you very much po, sir. Another question po. Sir, good afternoon po. What if nagtatake ka ng marijuana dati tapos po 3 years ka nang di nagtatake? May possible po ba na mag-positive po sa drugs?
Kung hindi mo na tuloy-tuloy yan, after 3 years, yung last mo take, siguro hindi na mag-appear yan. Hindi na mag-appear yan. Hopefully kasi may mga instances kami, cases na, may mga cases kami, mayroong cases kami, yung iba more than 3 years na, meron pa rin, yung iba less than 3 years, nandun pa rin. So, kaya ang tanong dyan, baka naman, interval pa yung gamit mo, baka naman tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Kasi yung last period ng 3 years mo, hindi dun sa last date ng actual use mo. So, case-to-case basis. So, ingat na lang siguro. Kung 3 years mo talagang purely 3 years na wala, siguro wala na yan. Kasi may cases kami, less than 3 years na, less than 3 years, kung natuloy-tuloy naman niya, wala, nag-negative naman siya.
Thank you very much po, sir. For the last question po, sir, paano po pag pinilit ka lang mag-take ng drugs kahit ayaw mo? Pero dahil no choice ka na kasi alam mong sasaktan ka nila, tinake mo na. May charge po ba yun?
Yung nag-take sa'yo, nag-impose sa'yo, yes, of course, chargeable yung taong nag-compel sa'yo. Okay? At ikaw, you might use a defense yung ating exempting circumstances under the Article 12 Revised Penal Code. You might use that as a defense. You will be also included in the charge kasi na-found ka na gumamit, but you might use the circumstances provided in Article 12 as a defense. But the one who enforced to you, compelled to you, surely makakasuhan yon. Kung napatunayan mo na pinilit ka, ha?
Thank you very much, sir. May pahabol pa po for the very last question po from our CCJE, sir, CCJE faculty. From Kimberly Kiambao. Sir, what is the national strategy of the Philippine National Police against dangerous drugs?
The national strategy still pa rin ganun pa rin tayo is the existing policy pa rin, hindi pa rin nababago pa rin 'yon. The same type, wala naman tayong bagong strategy natin. We are still on drug war. Of course, by virtue of the legitimate operation natin, yung bypass operation, ganun pa rin ang strategy. So long as it will not prejudice the suspect, that is still the existing and standard provision strategy natin, the legitimate bypass operation natin. Hindi yung sinasabi na yung nanlaban, no? Walang ganon. Walang ganon. Ang standard natin is still the legitimate bypass operation, hindi yung nanlalaban. Thank you.
Thank you very much po, sir. Again, thank you very much for the wonderful and informative talk po.
Thank you.
Now, to award the Certificate of Recognition, may we call on Miss Eleni M. Sibug, our academic head, to present the certificate. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. These certificates of recommendation awards to Police Lieutenant Arnold Makabasag, the Acting Chief Investigation Section, in recognition of this valuable contribution as resource speaker for the online Kumustahan webinar series entitled Igniting the Nationalism of a CELTIAN, Awareness in Protecting the Vulnerable Sectors. Topics: RA 11503, the Anti-Hazing Law, and RA 9165, the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, given this 4th day of June 2021, in the year of our Lord 2021, at Central Luzon College of Science and Technology Incorporated, City of San Fernando, Pampanga, signed by truly yours, Academic Head, Ms. Eleni M. Sibu, together with our Senior Vice President, Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Rene Paulo M. Legaspi, and the Dean College of Criminal Justice Education, John M. Candare. Thank you very much, sir, for having your time to our webinar series in celebrating our CELTIANS Day in the year 2021. We are hoping, sir, for another series of webinar. Thank you very much for it's so meaningful to our students and also to us as admin and staff po.
Thank you, ma'am.
Keep safe po. Let's have a virtual clap po for Sir Arnold Makabasag po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, any final message or advice to our students po and for other viewers po?
Yes, ma'am. Nowadays, our objective to become a successful criminologist and maritime. May maritime ba tayo dito? Makakamit lang natin yon na lagi lang tayong mag-ingat. Hindi tayo makakarating doon kung hindi tayo mag-ingat. What I mean, nowadays we are confronting this pandemic, hoping after this we could able to overcome this one first, then sunod natin ating plan. Be safe ang ibig sabihin lagi tayong mag-ingat. Yun lang po, ma'am. Salamat.
Thank you very much, sir.
Again, thank you very much po to all of our speakers for this event. We have learned so much from you po.
Thank you, ma'am.
And for the closing remarks, again, let us call on Miss Eleni M. Sibug, our academic head. Thank you very much.
Once again, to everyone, good afternoon. In behalf of the Board of Trustees and the other members, staff of Celtic College Pampanga, would like to give thanks to our guest speakers, Police Major Aileen Rose Stanger and Police Lieutenant Arnold Makabasag for today's very knowledgeable and meaningful online Kamustahan webinar series as part of our celebration for our first virtual Celsius Day 2021. Also, we would like to thank all the students who participated actively in this webinar. We're hoping Mom, Sir, and student to join us again on our upcoming webinar series. Thank you, keep safe, and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ma'am Len. Thank you also to our guest speakers. Celtians, we will be giving the link for post-evaluation. So, abang po kayo sa ating chat. Once po na nag-fill out po kayo sa ating post-evaluation, after a week, mabibigyan po kayo or masasendan po kayo ng e-certificate, katunayan na kayo po ay nag-attend sa ating online Kumustahan webinar series today. So, ayan po, nasa chat na natin ng ating Zoom. So, kindly fill out the form. Hanggang 5 p.m. lamang po ang pag-fill out ng form. So, abangan nyo na lamang po ang inyong mga e-certificate sa inyong email. So for our afternoon session po, meron pa tayong semi-finals for Mobile Legend Tournament and championship round for Mobile Legend Tournament. But yung pong semi-finals, it will be held simultaneously. So hindi po namin siya ma-flash through Zoom. Ang i-flash lang po natin or mapapanood lang po natin ay ang championship round. Mamayang 4 p.m. And then after that po, after ng championship ng Mobile Legend Tournament, proceed po tayo sa awarding sa lahat ng ating activities. It is the most exciting part ay yung awarding natin sa lahat ng mga activities na ginawa natin for this Celtians Day 2021. Ngayon pa lamang po nagpapasalamat na kami sa lahat ng mga students na all out ang support and very active sa ating Celtians Day 2021. #I am Celtian, getting stronger, resilient, proficient, and flourishing in the new normal. So lahat po ng segments natin from TikTok dance competition, meme making competition, virtual singing competition, and Face of a Celtian, and then also yung Call of Duty mobile tournament, and yung last nating segment which is yung Mobile Legend tournament. Lahat ng pong yun ay ma-awardan later on pagkatapos po ng championship ng Mobile Legend Tournament. And then we will also announce po sa ating awarding ceremony paano makaklaim ng mga winners ang kanilang mga cash prizes. So ulitin ko lamang po, yung pong link natin for our post-evaluation, it was already sent sa ating chat. So i-message natin ulit para sa mga hindi nakakita. So until 5 p.m. lamang po ang fill out ng ating post-evaluation. After 5 p.m. po, automatically close na. So lahat po ng mga nag-fill out ng form, automatically makakatanggap sila ng isang e-certificate na patunay na sila ay nag-attend ng ating online kamustahan webinar series. Okay, para sa pag-end ng ating morning session, actually it is already afternoon, pero ihahabol natin, meron tayong 15 winners for our raffle draw ngayon. So meron tayong 15 na katao na mananalo ng 100 pesos GCash load. So for this session, magbibigay po kami ng 5 winners. So, ay ihanda na po natin ang ating GCash details. So, ulitin ko lamang po ang ating rules regarding our raffle. Kinakailangan ang registration nyo po ay full name and also the year and the section. And then, if ikaw po ang nabunot, kinakailangan present ka dito sa ating Zoom. Once sinearch po ng ating mga kasama dito ang pangalan mo at wala dito sa Zoom, automatically forfeited na. Ibibigay po namin sa iba ang iyong prize. And then, kinakailangan po within 3 minutes, maibigay mo na ang iyong GCash details. If 3 minutes, wala pa, ibibigay po namin ulit para mas marami talaga ang makakuha ng ating cash prizes. Ma'am Erin, ready na po ba ang ating Wheel of Fortune?
Ano yung question na?
Ang pangalan mo at wala dito sa Zoom, automatically forfeited na. Ibibigay po namin sa iba ang iyong prize. And then, kinakailangan po within 3 minutes, maibigay mo na ang iyong GCash details. If 3 minutes, wala pa, ibibigay po namin ulit para mas marami talaga ang makakuha ng ating cash. Ayan, click to spin na po natin. So for our first raffle winner for the third day will be... Ang ganda na pong ballpen. So our first raffle winner for today is from BS Cream 1A, Israel Kiawit. Ulitin ko lamang po, ang first raffle winner natin today is from BS Cream 1A, Israel Kiawit. Israel Kiawit, you have 3 minutes to message us your GCash details. Israel Kiawit, paki-message po kami para sa iyong GCash details. Start na ang iyong 3 minutes. Kapag wala pa, yehey, wait po, sabi ni Israel. So, meron ka ng GCash 100 load. Meron na tayong pang online shopping o di kaya naman pang talpak. Diba? Alam na alam natin yan. So next, second raffle winner po. So as of today, meron po tayong 152 entries for our raffle. So marami-rami po yung mga nag-entry natin. Ayan, nakapagsayad na si Israel. Isang pusta lang yon. At least, diba, nakapusta pa tayo sa, sa talpak. Ayan, umiikot na po ang ating Wheel of Fortune. Who will be the second winner for our raffle? So our second winner for our raffle is from BSMT 2B, Ian Dale Y. San Pedro. Ulitin ko lamang, our second raffle winner is from BSMT 2B, Ian Dale Y. San Pedro. Ian Dale, paki-send po ng iyong GCash details sa ating chat. Alayo yata lagyo ko. At Chuya Paolo, ng mga latila mo. Ang dami kasing participants kanina. Actually, wala pang 5 minutes na na-send po yung ating... Wala pang 5 minutes na na-send yung ating link. 100 plus na yung nakapag-register. Ian Dale, nag-chat na. Pakisend ang iyong GCash details. Next po, for our third raffle winner, sa faculty ma'am, walang pa GCash. Wala daw ma'am, kasi meron daw po tayong sahod ngayon. Charot! Ayun, nakapag-send na si Ian Dale. So po, sa mga nanalo po ng GCash 100 load, since day 1, pasensya na po at hindi po namin kaagad na isa-send, but hindi po matatapos, hintayin nyo na lamang po hanggang Saturday ang inyong mga cash prizes. Medyo busy lang po tayo. Next! From our third raffle winner is from BS Cream 2B, Carla L. Dungka. Our third raffle winner is from BS Cream 2B, Carla L. Dungka. Carla, paki-message po ng inyong... Ayun, ang bilis! Parang naka-ready na. Ang bilis mag-send ng GCash. Ano na, Roleta? Hintuan mo pangalan ko. Oo nga naman, hintuan nyo. Wait lang! Huwag kayo mag-flood ng comments kasi natatambakan yung mga natin. Ayan. So, fourth raffle winner. Sana kahit dito piliin ako. Oo nga, no? Paula? Sana all pinipili. Ma'am, ako pa. Ala akong panyaling tsinelas. So our fourth raffle winner is from BSMT 2B. Aba, mabenta ang BSMT 2B. Karsten Delanor P. Magtanong. Sir, paki-search po si Karsten kung nandito sa Zoom. So as of this moment, hindi daw po present si Karsten Magtanong sa ating Zoom. So considered forfeited po ang kanyang prize. Bubunot tayo ng iba or magpapaikot tayo ng iba. Bakit kapag sa recitation, ang bilis kong mapili? Outs, pain, pighati. Next po. So, yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina, guys. Dapat kapag nabunot ka, nandito ka sa Zoom. Kaya dapat, standby lang kayo dito. Hindi po namin hinihingi ang GCash mo, Paula Jean. Our fourth raffle winner is from BSMT 1A, Edmar Matitu Castro. Andito ba si Edmar, ma'am? Andito siya. Edmar, paki-message ang iyong GCash details dito sa ating chat. You have 3 minutes to message. Kapag wala, ibibigay natin sa iba. Ayun, ngayon pa lang daw pumapasok si Carsten. Pinagbabawal na technique. Kapag nasa raffle, doon lang papasok. Ayun, nakapag-message na si Edmar Matitu Castro. So, isa na lang for the session. Abang-abang ulit tayo mamaya sa ating championship round ng Mobile Legend Tournament and also sa ating awarding. Mamimigay po ulit kami doon. Meron pa tayong 10 winners na natitira. Our 5th winner is from BS Criminology 4A Symbol Mardwin M. Paki-search po kung andyan. Andito daw. Mardwin Symbol, if you're listening, paki-message po ang iyong GCash details. Sabi ni Carsten, Ma'am Alania Kako, wala na. Ganon kasi talaga kapag pinapabayaan mo, nawawala na. Charot! Ma'am, pa-shoutout kang Ma'am Joanne from Ma'am Kimi. Kaya binilin ko na sa inyo kanina, dapat, kung gusto niyong manalo sa ating raffle entry, wag na wag po kayong aalis sa ating Zoom. Kung hindi, kung nabunot ka, forfeited na po. Sabi ng Paula, kala ko ako na lumagpas pa. Hindi kasi talaga ikaw yung gusto, Paula. Hintayin po natin kung nag-chat yung si Mardwin Symbol ng kanyang GCash details. Kung, ayan, meron na lang siyang 2 minutes. Nag-stop yung ating timer pero meron na lamang siyang 1 minute and 30 seconds. From Sir Hemerson Suba, yakupin ma'am, maski ala kong entry, mamasa ko pa rin abunot na ing pagmamahal ko kaya. Mamaya, abang ulit kayo sa ating championship. Ayun, nag-message na si Mardwin Symbol. So, ayun na po yung last winner natin for our raffle entry. Meron ulit tayong 5 for our championship round. And then, another 5 winners sa ating awarding ceremony. So, ulitin ko lamang po ang ating Mobile Legends semifinals ay simultaneously held. So, marami pong facilitators. So, sabay-sabay na pong maglalaro para po males po yung time na gagamitin natin. Kaya hindi po natin siya magagawang mai-view sa inyo. So, ang i-view na lang po natin ay ang championship round. Medyo nagkakainitan yung mga team players natin. Medyo nai-stress ako. So, ayan po. Maraming salamat po sa pag-join sa ating online kumustahan webinar series Igniting the Nationalism of a CELTIAN. Hopefully, marami po kayong natutunan sa ating mga discussion for today. Ayun, di ba? Kahit na sineselebrate natin ang CELTIANS Day, it is a time for us to enjoy. Pero mas maganda rin na meron tayong matutunan. And then, ma-instill natin yun sa ating kaisipan, hindi ba? So, abang-abang po ulit tayo sa ating another webinar series. Ayan po ay isang programa ng ating guidance coordinator together with the OSAA. So, pwede po kayong mag-standby dito or pwede din po kayong mag-leave. We will inform you sa inyong mga respective group chats once na ang championship round po ay ready na sa ating Zoom.